Am I good back here, Matt? Am I?
Yeah.
So if I step,
I think you're good. Yep.
you want to come up here?
I'll slide in and out. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha,
And we'll kind of watch this just a little bit as well.
gotcha. Oh, what do you got to talk first? You got it lined up here.
Yep.
I got a interesting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frank Irelan Field and tonight's contest of the Clinton-Massie Falcons against the New Richmond Lions. This is Matt Baker, Superintendent of Clinton-Massie Local Schools, with my broadcasting partner, E.J. Lamb. How you doing this evening, E.J.?
Hey, I'm doing good. Great night to have some football and have some fun tonight.
Absolutely. So the weather's going to be good. I think we're going to see a low of 50. And then hopefully we're going to see some heat coming from that field with two undefeated American Division teams right now. Both teams are at 3-0. Clinton-Massie sits atop because a little bit better record outside of the conference at 7-1. And then the New Richmond's 3-0 with an out-of-conference record of 5-3. So just in tonight's contest, this is a big league watch game. I'm sure that everybody outside of the league is looking at this game to kind of decide going into next week, the last week of league play. Wilmington will face Clinton-Massie at Wilmington, and New Richmond will take on Goshen. So it could come down, if New Richmond were able to get the win here, that the Goshen-New Richmond game could help decide the league title in a three-way tie, similar to just a few years back when Clinton-Massie rejoined the league and lost to Goshen during the regular season. But Clinton-Massie wants to kind of put all that to bed tonight, get the win, get out of here, take a win next week, and start into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the question coming into this, would Massie have any, competition as they finish out the year? And then a couple weeks ago, New Richmond goes on a winning streak. They've won 3 in a row now. They're 3-0 in the conference. And so we got a lot to play for tonight. Matter of fact, it's a big game for this SBAAC conference. So it's going to be a fun night to watch these guys battle, and probably winner wins it all. Winner wins the league here. So it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah. So talking about that, you had mentioned in the kind of pre-production conversation that the Triple Crown was achieved by Clinton-Massie last year. Talk a little bit about the 18-19 athletic season for Clinton-Massie.
Well, I kind of noticed thinking about that last year watching the baseball. I was watching a playoff game, and it hit me while I was watching it. They'd won the football conference. They won the basketball conference with some great senior leadership. Then they won the baseball, and I actually double-checked with you today to make sure. So I don't know the last time that's been done here at Clinton-Massie, but I know to have a triple crown and win the football, basketball, baseball is very rare. So to see that happen last year for Clinton-Massie, they're just building on that this year of what they've done and the success they had last year.
Yeah, I think we'd have to go to our kind of resident Clinton-Massie statistician, and that's Andy Copeland, longtime teacher, retired here a few years back, would know that number, and we'll touch base with him at some point to verify when is the last time Clinton-Massie was able to win maybe a KTC Triple Crown. KTC, the former league that everybody cherishes around this area, that was East Clinton, Waynesville, Greenview, Clinton-Massie, Cedarville, a great bunch of teams together. Might have happened back in those years, but it's awesome to bring that back to Clinton-Massie in the 18-19 school year. So just as we look at the league, we talked about the American Division. Let's talk just briefly about the National Division. So no surprise here, Blanchester yet again having a tough start to the year. Isn't able to win but one game out of conference, is now all of a sudden 3-0 in the league. Last year went 5-0 in the league, finished 5-5, and ended up winning the league. It looks like they have a chance to do that again. And I think the surprise of the league, and I think all the listeners and viewers would agree, is East Clinton right now.
Yeah, way to go, East Clinton. And they've had a great turnaround. Matter of fact, they were talking last year about this time of just discontinuing the football program.
Yep.
But people came in and just put some new life into that program, and that's so good. It's so great to have a football program that's, on the trajectory up. And so East Clinton's sitting at 4-4 at the end of the year with the potential of having a winning record. So kudos to them and all the coaching staff over there for getting that done.
Yeah, that's Steve Olds over there that's taking the head coaching position. Now, I kind of laughed and joked with somebody earlier in the week that if he goes 5-5, they're going to start the statue for him immediately.
Might as well.
It's been a few years since East Clinton's been able to go 500. And like you said, with a win tonight and then a kind of head-to-head meeting with Blanchester in the near future, that could be a 6-4 year. And I'm telling you, that would be an absolute blessing to the people of East Clinton. I know they're excited over there. And we know what winning football does. Winning football breeds winning football.
Absolutely.
So if you win a few games, you're going to get a few more people out to win a few more games.
Absolutely, and they're doing a great job. That Olds name over there is a very familiar name. As Coach Andy Old at Kings for so many years has had just a wonderful program, very successful program. And you see this name, a familiar name, go over there to East Clinton and just breathe life into them and see that turnaround is just a wonderful thing to see.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit as the viewers get ready to take a little bit of the pregame in. It looks like we've got about 22 minutes before kickoff. Let's talk about what drives this Clinton-Massie train out of Clarksville. Let's talk a little offense here, and I think if you start with offense, you have to start with the name Brendan Lamb.
Yeah, we affectionately call him the B train. He's thick. He might be a little bit even thicker than last year at 190 pounds, 5'10", and he's just solid, muscular running back that is leading the league. At one time was one of the top, as far as yards go, top rushing backs in the state as yards. Still is at the top with 25 touchdowns, and I'm telling you, he's having a phenomenal season. But you got to give credit to these blockers, this whole running team, offensive line. This offensive line has progressed throughout this season. There was a couple issues, but man, they've worked through those. They're playing good, and then you see this running attack of Clinton-Massie, number 23, Brendan Lamb, who's obviously college bound next year, just having a phenomenal season.
I think, like you said, it starts up front with the blockers, and always with the blockers. As a 10-year offensive line coach, I'm always going to give credit to the line first.
Absolutely.
But Brendan definitely adds the speed and the versatility, able to be elusive when he needs to, run you over when he needs to. And as many people know, just a good kid. You always want to root for a kid like that. He works hard, keeps his nose clean, keeps himself out of trouble, great grades in the classroom. So just that overall kid that we're excited to support. Right behind him, a sophomore, a speedster, is Carson Van Hoos. Van Hoos is not had quite as many carries as Brendan Lamb has this year. In fact, his attempts this year are 55, but he still has 500 yards, which is a 9.1 average with a long of 58, and he has 5 touchdowns as well. So talk a little bit about Carson.
Carson's a great player. Me and you both were calling this game last year when he got tackled from behind on a long run, broke his ankle, and he has had a great season, but I think by his own expectations has fallen short because he wanted to come out of the gate, and I think that ankle was still in recovery mode, and he's yet to hit 100% after this break. So I think you've seen him getting healthier and stronger and faster as the season goes. But he's a 500-yard rusher with 2 games to go and playoffs yet to go, so you could see him potentially get close to 1,000 yards. But he's the speedster. I know he's not 100% like he wants to be yet, but he's had a great season thus far with 500 yards.
Yeah, I think where he adds a little bit to both him and Brendan is they are also receiving backs.
Yep.
So he's got 3 receptions, 92 yards receiving, which is an 11.5.
Notice big plays.
Yeah, and a 30-yard average with a 75 long. I believe that would have probably been going back to the Avon Lake game where Devin Noble gave him a double reverse pass, and he was able to take that to about the 10-yard line, and then Brendan went in for the score. In fact, the tying score at that point, almost deciding whether to either kick the point extra after and go for the tie. McSorley goes for 2 to win it right there. Came up a little short. Avon Lake's going to be a playoff team. Took them to the very last second, so it's kudos to the coaching staff for taking on all comers against, no matter who they go against. It seems like Clinton-Massie's able to play up to the level of that competition. Well, I think it's interesting when you talk about the Clinton-Massie offense, you've got to talk about the fullback, no matter who that person is. When you talk to Coach Dan McSorley, he's going to tell you that we have a fullback-based offense. I actually heard him make that statement this week, that we are a fullback-based offense, which means we got to get the fullback going before your 2 and your 4 back. In this case, the Carsons and the Brendans can get loose, and there's been nobody better over the last, I would say, good 10 years or so, it seems like in my mind, than Robbie Frederick, and we've had a lot of good running backs there at the fullback position.
When you look at Robbie, as we get him, they get ready to walk across the field, the team captains for the coin flip, number 33, you can see he's not as big as the other players, as the running backs, but he is the grittiest running back. He is the toughest fullback. I mean, especially at that size, he will blow a hole open. And when we go back to saying what a year we've had offensively and with our rushing game, a lot of it's that because 33 is busting through that hole and opening up holes for 23 and number 6, Van Hoos and Lamb. And so Robbie is gritty, and he's completely underrated for a running back. He's got a good, quick move. He's not going to beat you sometimes at a 40-yard dash, but he's got quick feet. And I'm telling you what, the guy will bust a hole open for this offense.
Absolutely. So, looking at his stats, he's got 72 attempts. He's got 436 yards, averaging about 55 yards per game with a 6-yard average and a long of 24. 4 TDs. He also has 3 receptions. They like to give him a little screen pass every once in a while. I think it's honestly just to keep that defense honest.
Oh, yeah. And you see these running backs all have a few catches themselves. But, yeah, you got to throw them off, make the defense earn their keep here, and just play good D. But Robbie's just had a great season thus far, and he's gritty. And when you're in a tight game, he's the guy you want on your side.
Yeah. So looking at our yards per game, you've got Robbie Frederick, who's had 2 games of over 100 yards. You look at Carson Van Hoos, who's had 2 games over 100 yards. You look at Brendan Lamb, that's had 6 games over 100 yards. And I think the only reason that the Batavia game didn't get 100 is honestly pretty early they didn't need him.
Yeah. Well, that's been the case about 2 or 3 games. They've kind of pulled their starters by the second half. So he's had, played in about 3 games that he just played a half in. But as you see these running backs, it's no doubt that number 23, Brendan Lamb's your bell cow. But you look at these other guys, such great backs. They're not complimentary backs. They're great backs in their own right. But they're doing their role, fulfilling their role, and just has put such a 3-headed rushing attack that is so hard to stop for opposing teams.
When you talk about filling roles, you have to mention Tate Oberding. So Tate Oberding comes into the year thinking we're going to be a wide receiver and a free safety, the quarterback of the defense, calling all the defensive back calls, and then Cody Zantini goes down, broken collarbone. All of a sudden the coaching staff comes to him and says, guess what? You're now the starting quarterback. It's time to play ball.
Yeah, and Tate steps up. I watched in a preseason game, everyone watched Tate the last couple of weeks make these incredible catches and go up and just high point a ball and bring the ball down. I saw him do this in a scrimmage game where he did that twice in one scrimmage game, so you knew the potential. And I've told my family this and some of my friends around the area. I am confident in him. If you're throwing a jump ball up in the end zone, he's going to go up and he's going to make that play. However, they lose him. He goes to quarterback for the first 5 games of the season, and there he has to play and step in, and man, what a role he did. I mean, he played a great game, called a great game, and just was solid those first 5 weeks and set the table for Zantini to come in here, take the offense over, and then he goes back to receiver and does those kind of plays that he gets nominated for Play of the Week by Channel 19 and different news organizations that can see him go out and make a play like that at wide receiver.
Yeah, he comes in at the passing attack of 8 games with 10 attempts, 5 completions of 70 yards. So if needed, he can step back into that role. Also, he had a 25 rushing attempts for 103 yards total with about a 4-yard average. So when we needed him to run, he didn't run the triple option exactly like Cody does. He ran it more to give the ball or to run. The pitch wasn't as comfortable for him, so a lot of times it was a double option rather than a triple option. When you put Cody back in there, you get Tate back on the outside. The passing game is different, and you get more of that triple option look where Cody's going to either give, pitch, or he can run the ball if he needs to.
But you have to say this about Tate. He goes up to Bishop Hartley, the #1 team in Division III in the state of Ohio, and he gets a win on the road. That's amazing, the way he filled in and just fulfilled that role.
Did a fantastic job. So looking over the year so far, Cody Zantini has 15 attempts and 11 completions for 233 yards. He's got an average of 15.5 with a long of 64. He also has thrown 3 touchdowns at this point. And when you add that to this attack, so if you are the playoff teams that are looking at Clinton-Massie for years, you've just assumed they can't throw the ball. That's just the assumption you've made. You know, going back to even maybe the Hunter Fentress days where there might be 14 to 20 attempts every couple games, where you would have maybe whole seasons where you have less than 20 pass attempts. You're now into a point with Cody Zantini, though, that passing is an option.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to plan for it.
And I like that personally because it's not that they couldn't pass. People think, well, Clinton-Massie can't pass. It's the fact that they just wouldn't pass for many years because they had such a great running attack. But I'm saying this. They're starting to pass more. I know that the coaches are working on that so that when they get to the playoffs, I've always thought that's a bit of their Achilles heel. These defenses in the playoffs put 8 guys in the box and say, we're just going to stop the run. So when you bring Cody in here with Tate at that wide receiver spot, and you say, okay, you can't just now stack the box when we get to the playoffs. They're working on their passing game. Zantini throws a great ball. I think you're going to see more and more passing probably the next couple years. But I'm telling you, they're developing that passing game, something they haven't developed. And you're going to see that in the playoffs more, and so they got more of a dual threat there, and you can't just stack the box and beat them. And I like it. I really like that they're doing this.
Yeah, I would say Cody Zantini, like you said, adds a whole nother element that up to this point is there, but maybe just not that, we'll say that opportunity hasn't been taken advantage of quite as much as it has in these last couple games. So looking at these last couple games and the open up, like you said, with teams that maybe have struggled just a little bit, what do you get out of a game when at halftime it's 63-0, 56-0?
Well, that's a tough question. Didn't know that was coming. I think you see what you've got coming. I think I like the fact that a lot of those games they pulled their starters out, and although they pulled their starters out, their reserve comes in, JV comes in, and holds the line. They don't give up any points. So I think that bodes well for not just this year, but what's coming down the line. That next year you're going to have guys that got varsity experience, got a lot of playing time. They held the line. They kept the shutout going. So you got to give kudos to those guys, and it's good to see them get in there and get reps.
Absolutely. So going through the rest of this roster, 5 sophomore starters this year, especially on defense. So you've got Carter Frank has done a fantastic job. Maple is in there. You've got Colton Trampler. Let's talk about Colton Trampler for just a second. You talk about versatility, about knowing his role. He's been able to step in and fill in at linebacker. We're going to pause just for a second for the national anthem.
Outstanding job done by the Clinton-Massie Falcon Marching Band as they do the national anthem here at Frank Irelan Field. And we are just a few minutes away from kickoff tonight. We're a few minutes away, and we are going to have a great game between these two conference rivals as they set to take off. And we have just a lineup of some of the leaders in points in the conference. You think of the quarterback of New Richmond here, coming in here by the name of Luke Lytle. Has a lot of points. Him and Brendan Lamb from Clinton-Massie are, matter of fact, at the top for scoring in the conference. So somebody's going to come in this game with being the scoring leader. And right now it's pretty tight between those two. But a lot on the line tonight in this game.
Absolutely. I'd say Brendan Lamb has kind of established himself as the scoring leader throughout the league. I think they understand that the last couple games have been a little bit different because the starters haven't been pulled so quick. If you imagine him scoring against Batavia, probably like the gentleman from Roger Bacon this past week, who against CHA scored 8 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Could be a second-round opponent for Clinton-Massie, just depending on how things line up. Little surprise last week for Bethel to take a loss, which changes the projections of the playoffs. Let's talk a little playoffs while we've got that conversation going real quick. So Clinton-Massie's set right now to finish, it looks like, second in the Harbins. Talk a little bit about where you see them at in relationship to Wyoming.
I would say they're going to end up finish second, like you said. I think it's you're looking at two different things when you look at Wyoming and you look at Clinton-Massie, two opposing styles. Now, I was at the Clinton-Massie-Wyoming game a few years ago in the playoffs that Massie beat Wyoming in the playoffs. Massie can play with them and hang with them, but you got two different offenses. You got Evan Prater, who's going to UC as quarterback of Wyoming and committed to the University of Cincinnati, and you have a running attack, a rushing attack here in Clinton-Massie. So I think that's going to be a great matchup if those two end up meeting. However, I did get to see last night, I have a couple family members that play for Waynesville. Got to watch them play, and they grinded out a win. Waynesville has a great defense right now, and they are number 3 in the ratings right now. And so they're playing great, probably going to end up 9-1. And so those two old rivals may meet up in Division 4, so that'll be fun if those two old rivals meet up.
I would tell you that this place, first and foremost, would be packed if it happens to be first-round home game here.
Home and away will be packed.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable. We would love that. We want to play Waynesville. I think it's a great rivalry. It's something that we wanted to bring back. We're asking for their, administration to maybe reconsider bringing us back on, and hopefully it goes well for us here in the next couple years to get back on track. So let's talk just a little bit about Wyoming's schedule compared to Clinton-Massie. So Wyoming's played a couple people that are divisions below them. So they're looking at Columbus Academy, Taft, Reading, Marymount, and Madeira, Deer Park, and Finneytown are all below. When you rank them in the divisions, they would be Division 5. Clinton-Massie, of course, and Wyoming are Division 4, Region 16. And then they have taken on Mount Healthy, which is Region 12, Division 3. So is there any preparation difference for the playoffs if you play teams that are a little bigger, a little faster, a little stronger? Clinton-Massie at this point has been able to stack their schedule with opponents that are very tough and big. Avon Lake is a Division 2 team. Bishop Fenwick is a Division 3. Also, Bishop Hartley is Division 3, was the number 1 team of the state before we beat them. Goshen is Division 3. Western Brown is Division 3. This new Richmond team moved up to Division 3 new this year. And then you've got Wyoming Division 3. Does that change the projection of a team going into the playoffs?
I think so, and I think so because of this. One of, I wouldn't call it the Achilles heel, but one thing about Massie is this: they seem to play up to their competition. Sometimes they get a team that might be a trap game and they'll play down, but man, you put them on the big stage against a Bishop Hartley, Avon Lake, they almost came back and won that game. And man, they play up to their competition, and I think that's going to help them come playoff time.
I think you couldn't have said it better. I think they have a tendency sometimes to play down, but I think when they've had so many big games and other teams haven't, that's going to work out to their advantage, especially come playoff time. I felt that at Avon Lake and at Bishop Hartley, away games, the stage wasn't too big for Clinton-Massie.
No.
Even though that we had 5 sophomore starters, even though we had players that hadn't had as much varsity experience, it just didn't feel like there was this overwhelming sensation that this is too big for us. It almost felt like, yeah, we've been here before and we'll probably be back at some point.
And I think the sophomores are, you might say, too young to know better, to get nervous. Just, hey, we're here. We're sophomores. I know there's been a lot of expectation for this sophomore class. If you've been around Massey, you've heard about this sophomore class for a few years. But I think they're just saying, hey, we're here. We're not intimidated. And they played on the biggest stages, go to Columbus on the road. And we know not many people go to Columbus on the road and win. And the Falcons went to Columbus. They get the win. And pretty decisive win by a couple touchdowns by the end of the game. So you got to like how they're playing. You got to like how they're feeling this time of year.
So let's talk about New Richmond's hopes for the playoffs right now. So they are sitting at number 17. They aren't mathematically eliminated, but unfortunately for them, it looks like a very, very tough road. Now, you and I would both agree a win against Clinton-Massie, the points that they would earn due to that, and then the potential to beat Goshen, who's also sitting above them the very next week, means that mathematically eliminated yet is not by their name because of that very reason.
And listen to this. Last year's New Richmond Clinton-Massie game was a grind. It was 21-7, and Massey got a couple late touchdowns and won that game. But I'm telling you, it was a tight game. New Richmond's up for this tonight. They're pumped up, they're excited, and they want to win this game tonight. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, with 1:26 left before kickoff, we're going to bring this to a head here with the Clinton-Massie Falcons versus the New Richmond Lions. The Clinton-Massie band, as they prepare to take their stage, take their set at the end of the stands. Pretty good crowd here for an evening. It's a beautiful evening. New Richmond maybe hasn't traveled quite as well as I'm sure they'd like. It's a long drive from New Richmond to Clinton-Massie, but we're here, we're ready, we're excited to see what the Clinton-Massie Falcons and New Richmond Lions are going to bring to the table here on a Friday night in October.
Let's get ready to roll.
Absolutely.
Let me say this about Trampler, who's back to receive the kick alongside Brendan Lamb. He had an injury early, and I know he had expectations to play at running back. But, man, he's played great defense, kick return, took one back for a touchdown a couple weeks ago. He's had a great season here and just played great as well.
Yeah, I think the expectation is for him to be able to help out on offense here very, very soon. In fact, Zantini had talked about using him, and he's able to bring the ball back to the 45-yard line on that return. So excellent job there to start the game for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Garrett Trampler is able to start our broadcast with about a 25-yard return.
And that's been the story all year for Massey. They've been getting the ball at great field position all year long, and here they only have looks like a 56-yard field to go because of that great return by Trampler.
So Clinton-Massie starts in there. Looks like a toss to Trampler. He's going to cut up the field, immediately get about 6 yards on that gain. Robbie Frederick leading the way for him in the block. Brendan Lamb also on the block on that one. The new look line over the last few weeks, Joe Boffman filling in at that tackle position, has been there for quite a while now. It seems like they're gelling much better, especially over the last few weeks. Maybe not because of the competition, but because of just the time together. Also new this week, Brock Speaks is in at tight end. That's going to bring a little more stability to that line with an injury to Charlie Hare. Santini gives the ball to Robbie Frederick. Robbie Frederick breaks through. He's able to bust through their line, the defensive line, to the 35-yard line, which is going to be a first down for the Clinton-Massie Falcons.
And there you go. You see the grit out of Robbie. He's not going to stop with one hit, folks. He's going to keep those legs churning. He's not stopping with one hit.
Absolutely. So Clinton-Massie starts with a couple successful runs right off the bat. Gives him the opportunity to set the ball right at the 36-yard line. Zantini under center, gives the ball, fakes to Robbie Frederick in the eye. It goes to Brendan Lamb. Good solid gain right there of about 3 yards. We're going to work a little bit on the video here, ladies and gentlemen. Going to see if we can. Oh, there we go. Now we're having a little technical difficulties. I think we're good now.
And isn't that Brendan Lamb all year? It looks like it's 1 or 2 yard game, but he pushes back and always gets 3 or 4, even out of a carry where there don't seem to be a lot there.
Absolutely. Him in the eye has looked excellent. The pitch goes to Brendan Lamb. Brendan Lamb's caught in the backfield. He's going to be brought down Looks like about a 4, almost 5-yard loss there. Missed a block on the outside. He was immediately taken advantage of by the Lions. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 9.
And you better believe they're prepared for 23. You can tell they swarmed to the ends, and they're game planning for 23. So they've got their eye on him, and they want to stop him.
Yeah, they know, like you said before, who the bell cow is. You got Tate Oberding out very wide. He's even outside of the numbers on this one, setting up in the double slot look. The pitch goes to Garrett Trampler. He starts to cut up, turns the ball again. He's
nice
able to
run.
He's able to break loose down to about the 5-yard line there.
And you see that
right
versatility.
about the 15.
We didn't even talk about him at running back, but they put him in here this week. And there he is. He's got a great carry there, 15, 20-yard carry to bring you down into the red zone, down to the 5-yarder.
I was able to talk to Coach Zantini earlier this week, and he said Garrett is absolutely going to be used more in the offense at this point in the year because he's just that talented, and we need to get him with his hands on the ball. So Brendan Lamb in the eye is able to shake loose just a little bit. He sidesteps to the right. He's going to get down to about the 6-yard line, maybe the 5 on the play. Elusiveness inside of that pocket.
Yeah, he was moving back and forth and carried a couple guys with him, got down to the 6-yard line. So that's going to be a great compliment between Trampler and Lamb. You're just going to see all these weapons come out towards the end of the year.
Yeah, if you're able to add Trampler to the mix with Lamb, giving what he can from the backfield, whether it's in the slot position or from that I backfield, and you add Trampler getting out wide with that speed, that's going to be special. Looks like Lamb's going to get in the eye again. He's able to push the ball forward.
Still pushing. That's a first down, looks like.
We're going to see where the spot is, and it looks like they're going to call for time, but they're going to give him the first down.
There you go. Good hard run and good push by the offensive line to get that first down. Now you got 4 downs to get about 3 or 4 yards here.
Yeah, it looks like about 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Clinton-Massie's going to bring the ball under center. Going back to their, it looks like it's going to be the wishbone for the first time today, and the ball is going to go inside.
Down at the 1.
Spot the ball at the 1. Yeah, so a little bit of a push there. Got a couple yards from the first down.
And you see this keying on number 23, Brendan Lamb here. They're swarming when he gets it, and I think that's going to open it up for Trampler, going to open up for Robbie Frederick. So Lamb is the bell cow. They're kind of ready for him tonight, but you give him that 3rd and 4th quarter, and that 190-pound back might make a bigger impact as they wear him down.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing with Bishop Hartley. They were able to recognize that in the second half.
There it is.
Looks like they're going to call
There's the touchdown.
There's the touchdown. So we are going to call touchdown. Lamb gets the touchdown, the first score for Clinton-Massie this evening. We'll set up for the extra point attempt here. So what did you expect but run, big run, big run, run. So excellent job by Clinton-Massie staying with what got them here. Recognizing right away that they wanted to dominate up front and see what Lamb could do, see what Garrett could do outside.
Isn't it safe to say Massey's a little different? They don't pass a lot, but they like to get a safe lead. Looks like that was good.
Extra point is good. I know
when you say they like to get a lead, and then if they're safe, I know McShirley don't like to roll the dice and pass a lot, but when they get 2 or 3 touchdowns, then they'll start passing more and kind of getting that incorporated into their offensive game plan.
I think so. What they have talked about over the last couple of weeks is just having that opportunity to pass maybe late in the first quarter, early second quarter, because the score wasn't too far out of hand, but it was enough to where they were still trying to score and using that passing game a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I like that. I like as you get ready for this playoff run, incorporate the pass, give him, in my opinion, at least 8 to 10 attempts, and start getting him comfortable throwing the ball.
So Clinton-Massie will set up here. Van Hoos is going to be your wing on this far side here. Looks like number 16, Nolan Prignitz, is on the far side. Kicking the ball for Clinton-Massie is Trevor McGinnis, number 10. Actually, a gentleman that came from Xenia last year. He is a junior this year. kicking the ball off from the 40,
Oh,
and
wow.
it looks like they're going to try to pooch it. The ball's going to go almost to Clinton-Massie. You can see what was set up there. Caden Clutter almost came with that ball. It looked like Blake Ireland and Carter Uten almost was able to pick up that ball on the pooch kick.
Well, what's that tell you, Matt? I don't know. They tried to get him. You know the old saying, no risk it, no biscuit.
Right.
And they risk it there. And now you got giving New Richmond the ball, and they've got about a 56-yard field. So both of them have the same field to start.
Yeah, I would say, like you're alluding to, it's a vote of confidence in the Clinton-Massie defense to be able to try that and still feel like they're worth setting them up that in the short field. Goes in. New Richmond goes in motion. The pitch goes outside it. It's a pass. It's going to be to attempt to number 27, but Tate Oberding is right in his hip pocket the whole time, almost picked that ball off.
Playmakers all over the place. Really, this is one of the fastest Massey defenses I've seen in a few years, and there's a prime example. Tate, step for step, doesn't take the bait, and they come out of here with a trick play themselves, but Tate is just so athletic, stays right with him.
Yeah, you kind of had to figure that they were going to do something like that maybe early on. Number 2 for the New Richmond Lions is Luke Lytle. That's their starting quarterback, an 11th grader, both a QB and a DB. He's going to run the ball quite a bit. They actually don't pass the ball as much as you think in this spread look. It's a spread look in order to run the ball. That's what they're hoping to get.
You know, I've seen that in some high schools. The only thing about that spread is when you hand it off to the running back, sometimes he's 5 and 6 yards deep just to get to the line of scrimmage. So it's a different look when you're not going to throw out of this formation a lot.
Absolutely. So number 5 outside and here for New Richmond, Caden Pollard is your wide receiver, lined out wide. Looks like they got a 2-by-2 look with one running back in the backfield. New Richmond goes back to pass. The ball is in and out of the hands of number 15. That is Isaiah Bowman, a junior wide receiver. It looked like he was open. He just wasn't able to bring the pass in.
He might have been hearing some footsteps there.
Yeah, they want to make sure and give an opportunity for Clinton-Massie to show their speed in the defensive backfield. They're going to send balls deep as much as possible. Looks like Garrett Trampler is going to set up here for the punt return. Ball is safely kicked away, and it's going to go out of bounds right about the 32-yard line. So Trampler won't be able to return that ball. Ball will be out of bounds at the 32, giving Clinton-Massie about 70 yards or so for hopefully another score.
And, you know, I think what you like about this time of year versus other years is last year about this time Van Hoos went down, injury issues. This year it seems like everybody's getting healthy. Garrett Trampler's back. He had a little injury the first part of the year. But that's what you want. You want your team to be playing the best and everybody getting healthy this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get ready for the playoffs and have your whole team there in order to do that. And I think right now they're able to feel like they are getting everybody back to 100% from the wishbone backfield. Ball's going to go to, looks like Robbie Frederick is going to get that one. Or is
Might
that
have been Van Hoos.
Van Hoos got that, yeah. Van Hoos got that. It's going to be his first carry of the night. Looks like he's got a solid 3 yards there. It's going to bring up 2nd and 7. So that's kind of what they do to you. It's like Novocaine, the old remember the Titans line. It's like Novocaine, just give it time. It always works.
Yeah.
Carter Uten's out on the right-hand side, split out wide. Looks like a double slot look with Brendan Lamb, and Van Hoos is going to go into motion. Fake the pitch to him. It goes to Robbie Frederick up the middle. He's able to bounce off a couple would-be tacklers. That's going to bring it down to about 8 yards total, so he's going to have 3rd and 2 for the first down at right about the 40-yard line.
And another hard run for Robbie. You're going to see that every time he touches the ball. I just sitting here thinking, you have Lamb, who's got breakaway speed, Van Hoos, Garrett Trampler. You have 3 running backs that if they get in the open field, potential to leave everybody.
Absolutely. Lined up in the wishbone. The ball's going to go to Brendan Lamb. He takes the ball. He's able to pass through, keep his feet by putting his hand down for an extra about 3 yards there. So he's able to get the first down right about the 47-yard line. Brendan Lamb showing some good balance there.
Remind me of Marcus Allen from years ago, running through that with that balance and almost keeping the balance and having some open field there, but great run by Lamb.
Yeah, I think if he would have been just one more person deep, he would have been able to break that one free if he would have been able to keep his balance. Robbie Frederick in the backfield. Brendan Lamb goes into motion. The ball goes to Robbie Frederick. A good block
nice move.
Yeah. Robbie Frederick's able to run over a few people in the process.
Wow. And I'm telling you right there, Matt, he has great feet. That was great footwork. And then instead of going around the next opponent, he just lowers his head and hits him right in the shoulder pads.
And I'll tell you what that is. That's his wrestling background. His wrestling background means he has good feet. He is an excellent wrestler, does a great job, cuts a little bit of weight and wrestles a little bit thinner than what he plays fullback out, but he's got excellent feet. In the wishbone backfield, fake the pass, gonna go deep.
Got tangled up, looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Oberdeen was tangled up just a little bit. Yep. That means we're going to bring the ball back for a 2nd and 10 from right about the 40-yard line, 39-yard line. So that was good. Clinton-Massie just trying to air one out. Looks like Tate Oberdeen got a little tangled up there, but I think we're in good spirits still that the passing game is not put to bed just yet.
And ironically, when they had the great run a couple years ago with Richardson at wide receiver, Massie always has a receiver playmaker that's making plays.
Absolutely. Love to see Luke Richardson get a little more playing time if that was possible. That would be great. Luke Richardson, by the way, has done excellent at Wilmington College. He's been electric up there. I got to see a couple of his games. I actually got to call one of his games. Got to call him on a return for a touchdown on a kickoff. Was fantastic. Started the season that way, so it was great. So Clinton-Massie able to bring some more talent to the local area, so we'll support our local colleges hopefully with as much talent as possible. Clinton-Massie's able to bring the ball to the 31-yard line. This looks like it's going to be 3rd and 1 in the wishbone backfield. Ball goes to Brendan Lamb. Brendan Lamb's able to get over across the line, but just barely for the first down. He's going to be able to proceed over the line to gain. We're going to have a new set of downs for the Falcons.
You talk about footwork. You see him kind of get sideways to get through that line and just is going to find a way to make it. And you kind of know on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3, and when they haven't had the first down, you kind of know who it's probably going to go to because he's just got so much speed and power coming at you.
Yeah, I was able this week to kind of do a little research on the teams that we may face in the playoffs, just depending on how it lanes up. And he is much like the gentleman from Roger Bacon, big tree trunk legs, strong, good runner. The pitch goes outside to Garrett Trampler. Trampler is able to weave in and out of the defense and get down to the 10-yard line. Excellent job. I'll tell you, he has definitely added something to this offense already.
Absolutely. It's pick your poison, and that's how it's going to be. With this stable of running backs, it's who you're going to stop, and you just can't stop everybody, most teams. So it just creates so many issues for the opposing defense.
So McSorley calls this his sugar huddle. This is the quick huddle. Get up to the line. Let's run a play. Double slots. Fullback in the backfield. Ball's going to go to the fullback on a trap play. He's going to be stymied.
Didn't fake him there.
Stymied right at the line of scrimmage. But as we talked about in the pregame, this is a fullback-based offense. That's straight from the coach's mouth. That means they're going to keep feeding that fullback, whether it's 1 yard, 10 yards, 20 yards. That fullback's going to get the carries to keep this offense rolling.
Yeah, many times you're just setting it up for later in the game when you're going to fake that handoff, pitch it around the end, do a little misdirection there.
Clinton-Massie lines up in the I backfield. Brendan Lamb dots that I. The pitch is going to go to Brendan Lamb. He's almost stopped in the backfield. He's able to stretch it out but only get to, looks like about the 8-yard line. So he's going to be forced out of bounds at the 8-yard line for Clinton-Massie, bringing the ball to the right hash.
They've been preparing for him. When he gets wide, they have a couple pursuit every time, seem like trying to pursue him on those edges.
We'll start the 3rd down here right at the 7-yard line. Cody Zantini brings the play back into the huddle. Tate Oberdeen is going to go out wide. Brendan Lamb is going to dot that I with Robbie Frederick in front of him, bringing the tight end Brock Speaks to the right. I backfield under center. Ball's going to go a fake to Brendan Lamb, and Cody's going to get sacked in the backfield. He's going to bring him back about 4, almost 5 yards, which is going to bring in the kicker, Trevor McGinnis, to try an attempt, which is probably going to be right at, the ball's going to be spotted at the 11, 18, a 28-yard field goal attempt.
Kudos to New Richmond. They didn't want to go down 14-0, and they just have a great defensive stand these past 3 plays.
Yeah, it was a good job. It was looking pretty rough for him there at the beginning. Here goes McInnes. McInnes is lining up. Takes kind of a short approach to the ball. The ball snapped. The ball is down. Kicked up. And that is good. So that's a 28-yard field goal, bringing the score 10-0. We're into the first quarter. Got 2 minutes left in the first quarter. What are you seeing right away, EJ, when it comes to the offense of Clinton-Massie?
You see an extra person. They're kind of getting Trampler out there in that offense, and when you put him back there, you see that ball move down the field. However, I do see that New Richmond's kind of ready for 23, and they had to stop the pass there, stopped Robbie Fredericks there, and so they kind of bared down there and just did a great stand there.
Yeah, I would say that at this point that was a little bit of a gift from the Clinton-Massie side of things, because usually they would just 8-yard line, push.
Yep.
But they wanted to try something a little bit different. They
Went to
wanted
the edge.
Try to get a pass and try to pass the ball one good time.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially right now in the early thirds of this game when they're able to move the ball almost at will. So
Don't expect it again, though, Matt, after that happened.
That's going to be a touchback for Trevor McInnes.
Oh, wow.
Excellent job by McInnes on that. He's able to get the ball deep into the end zone on the bounce, hit right about the front of the goal line, went outside of the back of the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback for the Clinton-Massie Falcons, bringing the Richmond Lions to the 20-yard line.
And when you talk about getting ready for the playoffs, you want every aspect of your game clicking. You want punting, kicking, special teams, offense, defense. So it's good to see this out of our special teams, getting a little field goal there, get his confidence up, because often the playoff game will come down to a field goal.
Yeah, right now we've got the defense set with Colton Trampler in the middle, Caden Clutter also playing linebacker. The ball gets almost picked off by...
deflected first.
Yeah, by Nolan Prignitz. So you had a little touch at the line. Prignitz comes in right behind it to almost pick that off and go the other way with it. So New Richmond is trying to find their way here in their passing game. Looks like they're still trying to spread it out pretty wide. They're going to be trips right with the running back to the right. Ball's going to get snapped to Lido. Defensive move at the last second there. The ball's going to get tucked by the quarterback. He's able to break loose of the Clinton-Massie defense. He's passing the 50-yard line. He's going to get pushed out of bounds right about the 40-yard line. That's clearly the biggest play for New Richmond so far.
I'm telling you, he put a move on a couple of those guys early in that run, and he's got some quick feet. That's why he's up there at the top of the conference with scoring. He's a great running back, and you saw those legs just take off.
Yeah, they're going to quickly get back to the line.
They needed that.
Absolutely. Over these next couple plays here, we're going to try to see if we notice who's playing both ways. The running back, 27th, gets absolutely destroyed right behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like that was, 51 is Colton Doyle. Colton Doyle met him in the backfield with some authority.
Yeah, he said, not this run.
Right. Lytle's in the backfield with an empty set, so he's trips right, 2 to the left. Looks like they're in a passing set from the offensive line. He tucks the ball. He wants to run. He's able to be almost brought down, and then he is going to be brought down, almost intercepted by Tate Oberdeen. He's brought down in the backfield. He was able to get rid of that ball, so that's going to be an incomplete pass. Braxton Green had him for a second. He was able to spin out of that. Braxton Green looks like he's shaking off a little bit of frustration or maybe a little stymied hand there.
That's surprising he got out of that, but he's quick, got quick feet. Braxton Green, you hear his name a lot every week. He is a defensive player.
Trips right with one running back in the backfield. Carter Frank sets up as the slot DB. Pass goes to the running back. He's wide open on the outside, makes one move, but he's not able to get away from the defender on the far side of the field. It looks like that was... we're trying to get you a number here. That was Garrett Trampler that brought him down. Garrett Trampler, a 3-year starter, recognizes that pass right away and is able to bring him down right out of bounds. It is 4th and 5. So after that long run, a couple quick plays get you to 4th down, motion out of the backfield into an empty set.
They're going for it.
Absolutely. They would at this point because that's the farthest they've been on the field so far.
Oh, wow.
Oh, a little quick kick, get away. Clinton-Massie That's going to get down at the 18, maybe the 19-yard line. So we actually used to do that when I coached at Reading. We had a quarterback that was actually a pretty good punter. So every once in a while, we'd set up in a 4th and 5, 4th and 3, and just do a little quick kick, trying to put the ball as close to the end zone as possible.
I think he was wanting another opportunity at that punt. If they knew that was going to go a few yards, they probably would have went for it. But here they are. They've got Massie down with about an 80-yard field to go. So this is their worst field position yet in the game.
Yeah, so far this is where Clinton-Massie has started in the farthest part of the field. They're going to be right about the 19-yard line, putting us back with about an 80-yard field to go, so Clinton-Massie can see what we got as far as the pitch for Garrett Trampler. Trampler's able to put his foot in the ground, go upfield just before he gets stopped for about a 7-yard gain there. Trampler, yet again, a integral part of this offense in this first quarter.
Yep, and he's making some plays tonight, getting him ready for the playoffs. That's about 6 or 7 yards. It's about 7 yards right there.
About 10 seconds left before this quarter, so they're just going to go ahead and let this quarter run out. Clinton-Massie's going to take the lead into the second quarter, 10-0. That last offensive series by New Richmond got him all the way to about looked like probably about the 30-yard line or so, but wasn't able to convert that 4th down into a 1st down by just doing the quick kick. Brings the ball back to Clinton-Massie, about a 7-yard gain, so we're going to have about a 73-yard field to go. Start of the second quarter. What's your concerns? What's the things that are sticking out right away?
You know, you hate to see, being a Massie football team, not being able to punch a ball in when you're within the 10 yards of the end zone. So that's kind of a concern. I'm sure next time they're going to pound it up the middle and just pound that line. On New Richmond's side, though, you got to like that they put some defense, had a great goal line stand down there, stopped them, and held them to 3 points. But Massie, I assume you're going to get more of this throughout the game, and they're just going to try to wear you down. I think the fans, honestly, as my little 9-year-old boy's son said, Daddy, why would we drive an hour last week and watch a blowout? I think the fans may want to see a good game, and especially for the title, is on the line tonight.
I guarantee you, Coach McSorley doesn't
he don't
care
want to
about
see it.
that.
No.
He's totally fine with a blowout.
He's fine with it, but I think New Richmond and some of our fans says, give us at least a good game, a half or 3 quarters, and New Richmond probably will. There's no give up in them.
Yeah, like you said, they're ready to play. They took this game late into the first half last year with a close game. It ended up being a little bit stronger for the Clinton-Massie Falcons, especially in the second half. So it looks like Robbie Frederick lined up in the backfield. Brendan Lamb goes into motion. The ball goes to Robbie. Robbie's able to step over a couple defenders and get a 1st down. Again, it's that varied attack, whether it's coming up the middle, whether it's going outside, whether it's dotting the I. And then every once in a while, just to make you a little bit scared, we're going to go ahead and pass the ball just to try something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you see tonight with you've already seen 4 running backs touch the ball. Seen a pass attempt, and you just like seeing this well-rounded offense.
Yeah, Robbie Frederick's done an excellent job throughout the entire year, but this especially is a time of the year where he wants to go when it gets cold. Ball goes to Brendan Lamb. Brendan Lamb's able to break through. He's going to get down to about the 49-yard line, breaking through that second line of defense. Almost took that one to the house. A touchdown-saving tackle by New Richmond there.
Yeah, and you see Lamb getting some opportunity up the middle. They've been pursuing on the ends, but, man, when they open up a line up the middle and he gets in the open field, he's dynamic.
Clinton-Massie with the wishbone backfield. Tate Oberdeen far right outside of the numbers. Ball's going to go to Van Oos. The speedster is able to get and fall forward for a solid 5 yards there. Clinton-Massie with a 2nd and 5 to start this second quarter with a 10-0 lead. Cody Zantini brings the play into the huddle along with Blake Ireland. So we're going to look on the New Richmond side and try to get a few numbers here for you. 68 is Cole Devers, an 11th grade offensive and defensive lineman playing for the Lions. Brendan Lamb gets the ball. He's going to get outside. The push is by Brody Muterspaw, but he's not able to get up the field. He just strings that one out along with Brock Speaks. That's just going to get him probably about 3 yards, but not the 1st down.
Yeah, and this pursuit to the end and the edges by this New Richmond defense is pretty impressive tonight. They're getting to the edges. Massey seemed to have success up the middle, but you can tell when 23 gets the ball around the end, they're gonna make an attempt to stop it.
New Richmond also brings Jason Ackerman, a senior defensive lineman, to the defensive side of the ball, along with number 57. That's Jaden Nagel, also a senior defensive lineman. We're trying to see how many players New Richmond has going both ways. It looks like number 22 is also on defense. Mitchell Williams at the linebacker position and the running back position. So it looks like a first down for Clinton-Massie. They'll start with the ball at the 39-yard line. Looks like a double slot look. Robbie Fredericks in the backfield at fullback. Tate Oberding's out wide. Cody Zantini under center. Brendan Lamb goes in motion. Fakes.
There it is.
Goes to Tate Oberding. Gets the pass. Great slant route, wide open by, there was nobody 7 to 10 yards in front of him, and was able to pick up a first down on the pass. That's the part of the game right there that people really haven't got comfortable with Clinton-Massie being able to bring to the table.
And if you put it around Tate, from what I've seen, he's going to catch it. He's got great hands.
Absolutely.
And he's going to make the play.
And I would say the same thing about Carter Uden. Carter Uden has great hands. He's a guard for the basketball team. Robbie Frederick up the middle. He does lose the ball.
Get on it.
New Richmond is able to pick up the fumble. They're going to retain possession on the fumble, and Davis Wolf is able to bring him down. Robbie Frederick loses the ball underneath the pile of Falcons, turning the ball over at the 25-yard line. Ball gets returned to about the 40-yard line, so that's not something you want to see. You don't want to see turnovers.
And Robbie don't fumble a lot, and I can guarantee you this: he's mad at himself, and he's going to make New Richmond pay for that later. He's going to take it out on them. He's just a competitor, and that's got to get cleaned up on all of our behalf as far as Massey. All running backs, quarterback, we got to secure the football.
So New Richmond with pretty good field position at the 40-yard line. Number 4 for New Richmond goes in motion. That's Trad Chase, and that's going to be a screen, and that's immediately picked up by number 34, Colton Trampler, the sophomore linebacker that's able to sniff that out right away. He saw that, been watching film, you can tell. As soon as the line gave in, he was off to the races.
Great prep work. He saw it. The receiver would have been better off to drop it because they lost about a yard, looks like, on the play. But great play by Trampler there.
Lytle in the backfield with trips right. One receiver to his left, the running back also to his left. He drops backs to pass. Ball sails over in his hands, almost. Oh, and he's able to intercept the ball. That's Devin Noble.
Yep.
On the far side of the field. It looked a little like he might have dropped it onto the ground, but nope. The ref is saying that he secured that ball.
Got it.
And now we're going to have Clinton-Massie first down from the 45-yard line. Takes you back to that Bishop Hartley game where Devin Noble was able to make the pick right before the end of the game to kind of secure and end any threat that Bishop Hartley had. Right place, right time because of preparation.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the speed of this Massey defense. Devin's another one who's got great speed, and they put him down out there on receiver. And, man, he's an impressive player, got a lot of speed, good hands there.
Yeah, Devin is extremely fast, has been since his Pee-wee days. Brendan Lamb goes in motion. The ball is going to be aired out, but Cody Zantini has to escape from trouble. He's able to bob and weave his way almost back to the line of scrimmage, but he's going to be brought down for about a 3, almost 4-yard loss.
Let me say this about New Richmond. The fact that we've already passed 3 or 4 times and they've sniffed it out about 2 or 3 times, that's good prep. They're getting through that line, and that doesn't look well for us in our passing game right now.
It definitely looks like they've done their homework on our passing game, and our offensive line is having a little trouble pass blocking at this point. So we're going to see what airs out here in the next quarter or so before halftime. So back into a double slot set. Looks like Clinton-Massie with Zantini under center. Motion goes to Garrett Trampler. Trampler's out wide, puts on the brakes, but there's going to be a flag come in. Garrett Trampler is able to bring that ball to about the 40-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. It looks like they're going to be holding on Clinton-Massie.
Well, we're starting to shoot ourselves in the foot a bit here, and you let New Richmond hang around with the athleticism of this quarterback on offense. Give them a chance to get their confidence up in this game. It's what they need right now.
Yeah, it looked like on the outside, Clinton-Massie offensive player got a little handsy there and tried to extend out just a little bit too far from the sideline here. It looked like you could see it, so I think they caught him red-handed there in the backfield.
Matt, I have to say I must have gave him the kiss of death as I was watching Waynesville last night. A lot of penalties on both teams. I said, that's a great thing about Massey is you don't see a lot of penalties. But tonight, that cost them a lot right there. That penalty did.
Absolutely. So Brendan Lamb in the backfield.
Nothing going there.
No, he gets stymied right at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, they were ready for him. Now we got a third and it looks like about 20, so we're going to pull out that playbook and see what kind of play we got for 3rd and 20 here.
An interesting look there. There didn't seem to be a fullback in front of Lamb. It looked like he was either out to one of the sides. I don't know if that's just a formation that they tried, something a little bit different.
It looks like for Lamb, if they can get him in that, blow up a hole in that line, offensive line, that's been his best spot this evening.
Lamb goes into motion. The ball gets faked. Devin Noble's able to take the ball around on a reverse, and it looks like they're going to call Blake Ireland, I think, for holding on the far side. Blake Ireland had to hold his block extra long, and I know that this has actually been a penalty on him in a game in the past that ran the same exact play and same exact penalty. So
I said, what are they going to call? A great play call, 3rd and 20. You see the explosiveness of Devin Noble there, and then here they go again, shooting themselves in the foot. Now we're going to be looking at either 3rd and 25 or 3rd and 30.
Yeah, I would say at this point they'd be better suited to just run a play, punt the ball, play some defense, see if they can switch the field here.
I wouldn't want to be near Coach McShirley right now after these 2 penalties.
No, I don't think he's going to be too happy about
it was a spot foul, so it actually moved him up a bit.
Okay. So 10 yards from the spot of the foul is going to bring the ball at the 51-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd, what looks like about 16. Ball's going to get faked to Lamb. Ball's going to be laid out to Tate Oberding, and he's able to bring the
time.
Unbelievable.
Every time. He has hands, folks. And they're pumped up. That's exactly what Clinton-Massie needed.
Yeah, again, if you're opposing teams, and now all of a sudden you have to say, Clinton-Massie can throw the ball.
And you don't have to make a perfect pass. You just got to put it up there, and he's going to high point it and bring it down.
And that's exactly what he did. He went up. He's a basketball player. He's a rebounder.
With great jumping ability.
Yeah, he can slam and could as a sophomore. Brendan with a nice step back, and he's going to be able to score from. Oh, what a run!
Wow!
Nice run by Brendan Lamb. That's why we call him the bell cow. He just rang that bell right there. That was a fantastic run by Lamb. About 6 or 7 people he eluded their tackles, was able to bring the ball across the goal line, bringing the score right now for Clinton-Massie 16 and the New Richmond Lions 0 with the extra point to come.
And that's why he's college bound right there. That moves with that speed and power. I was kind of wondering why he just stutter step. Well, he showed us why. What a run.
Yeah, his vision is excellent. Ball's down, kick, up. That one's going to be good, bringing the score to 17-0 about mid-second quarter here.
But, man, that's a perfect example of setting it up with that huge pass place on 3rd down. Tate going up and making a play like he always does, and then after the play's made, Lamb runs it in. It's hard to stop this team.
Defense steps back just a little bit, concerned about that long pass, concerned about anything coming out of the offensive backfield in the air.
Yes.
So by doing that, when their first step is back, Brendan Lamb's going to make them pay for that.
And he does there, and now we're 17-0 lead here in the second quarter, and one touchdown away of really blowing it open, so New Richmond needs to respond here.
New Richmond sets up in the kickoff return 5-2-2-2 with, looks like 27. Their starting running back is in the return position. That's Jacob Duty. Duty's going to get the ball. He's going to bring the ball past the 20, past the 25, up to the 30, and he
wow,
gets
good.
leveled.
Wow.
Absolutely leveled by Brock Speaks.
Oh.
Yeah, that rang his bell right there. That absolutely rang his
my bell, and I'm standing here in the press box. Wow.
Yeah, I think
hopefully he's okay with that hit. Wow.
I think the fans appreciate that. I think the team appreciates that. Just like Robbie Frederick running over a couple guys, that gets the sidelines pumped up. And you know that's going to carry over to your defensive line, your defensive backs. They're going to want to do the same thing and bring that same rise to the sidelines here.
Every aspect, special teams, punting, which is part of it, offense, defense, everything's clicking. It's what you want.
Clinton-Massie right now sets up four-man front. It looks like Dalvin Maple's going to be your stand-up in on the far side with Trampler and Caden Clutter anchoring the middle of your defense. The ball goes to Duty. He also gets met in the backfield again by two Clinton-Massie Falcons. Looks like number 5, Caden Clutter, number 9, Braxton Green. Missing from that lineup right now. I'm trying to see. Yep, I see him now. Noah Corbett, also a anchor of that defensive line. Noah Corbett's been an excellent surprise this year. Transfers back from Monroe. Actually took a few years off playing football. Didn't play his sophomore and junior year. Hits the weights hard, came in a little out of shape. These are his words. I'm close to Noah's a great kid. He was able to get himself in shape, drop almost 50 pounds total when it comes down to it. He's wrapped up by Braxton Green, it looks like, in the backfield.
Hear that name a lot.
Pressure by Corbett and Dalvin Maple on the outside as well. So excellent job by the Clinton-Massie defense. That big hit has definitely sparked the Massie defense and got them excited as well. They're now a 3rd and 15.
And that goes back what you said about Noah losing that weight. Personally, he could probably keep on the defensive line about 10 or 15 more pounds, but he's quick, and this whole defense is fast.
Agreed.
And they're fast to the ball. It's a really underappreciated probably part to this Massie team is how good this defense really is.
I would concur with your statement that this is one of the fastest defense that I've ever seen Clinton-Massie put on. Ball gets taken away. Oh, and that's a nice catch by the new Richmond receiver. Now it looks like they are going to spot him just a little short of the first down. But I'll tell you what, great throw, great catch with pressure and a hit on the back side of that play.
You have to be really good to execute against this defense, and that was a great play. 4th down and about 1 or 2 yards to go for the Lions here.
So 4th and, would you call that a yard?
A big yard.
Big yard. So they're going to go for it on this side of the 50. That's Lytle's going to set up. Now he might do another quick hit here.
Yeah, he may punt.
Yep, they're looking over to the sideline to get the signal.
Yeah, you don't want to give Massie the ball down here. Oh, there's a flag on the field.
Looks like a delay of game penalty. Yep, it's going to be a delay game penalty against New Richmond. So too much time looking at that signal over on the right-hand side, and they're going to bring the punt team in to make an official changeover and punt.
Yeah, they wanted to think about that, and they're going to probably make the right call for now. You know, if you make it, everybody's a hero. It's a great call. If you miss it, you're giving that team the ball and with not many yards to go.
You're also telling your team that you're not sure how much confidence you have if you're willing to take that big of a gamble this early in the game. You're down by 17. Maybe you're looking for a little spark, but wiser heads have prevailed here, and it looks like the punt team for New Richmond is going to take the field. Referees are talking just a little bit, but we have just a little break in the action. Clinton-Massie takes on Wilmington next week at Wilmington. Thoughts just for a second on Wilmington?
Wilmington's down a little bit this year. Their great quarterback, Brady Evans, decided to play golf instead of football. Kind of hurt them a little bit there, I think. And so it's a big rivalry game, going to be a fun game. But Massie definitely goes in with the advantage and probably the better of the teams going into that game.
Yeah, it is one of those games, though, as a rivalry game that you can kind of put the records aside for just a little bit. Garrett Trampler gets the ball. He's going to reverse field, try to get upfield. He's actually losing ground in the process.
There he gets the corner.
He's going to get to the 40, weaves his way to the 45-yard line. So he ran about 40 yards to get about 10 yards.
But he was able to finally get that corner and make a little something out of nothing. So
looks like a Brock Speaks block to help him out on that as well. So Wilmington, like you said, down just a little bit. I know that their quarterback, the starting quarterback they've used up to the last week, Cameron Coomer, did not play in last week's game. I'm not sure about this game. We'll check some scores and get you a few highlights, hopefully, of some other games here in just a moment. But, that's obviously going to change their offense when they're starting a JV quarterback from this point in the year. Clinton-Massie lines up in a double slot. Van Hoos goes into motion. Robbie Frederick with the ball. He's able to break through the first two lines of defense. A block comes from Brock Speaks, but he's brought down right before the first down. Looks like a solid 8 yards to start this drive.
Yep, and there's Robbie making plays every game. Every game he's going to get in there and make plays. And like I said, after that fumble, he's going to make him pay for that.
Yeah, I would say that he is not happy, as you said, with himself or with the fact that they recovered. So he's going to make him hurt just a little bit.
There's Van Hoos.
Van Hoos able to get the ball. He's going to move the chains for a first down. So just a little update for you. Wilmington is beating Western Brown 7-0 at this point. We'll check a Goshen score for you as well. So the Falcons with a first down, up 17-0 in the second quarter. Lines up in the wishbone with one receiver out to the left. Zantini takes the ball, pitches it to Brendan Lamb. Brendan Lamb shakes a few people, stutter steps, gets outside, goes out of bounds right on the 28, almost 27-yard line. So it's going to be probably a 2nd and 1, maybe a long one. Nope. Actually,
first down.
They're going to give him the first down.
He kind of dances, patient, and has just got such quick feet. You see it right there. Take it. Looks like we got Roger Bacon 3-0.
No, Goshen is up 21-0.
Isn't Goshen gritty? They're a gritty team, aren't they?
Absolutely. Goshen up 21-0 on Batavia. The ball goes to Robbie Frederick. Robbie Frederick's able to bust through 2 tackles, brings the ball down to about the 17-yard line. He's just that quick little strike. Get you 4-5, get you 4-5, all of a sudden get you 10.
And you see New Richmond starting to get beat down. This offense attack is just making, kind of making them pay here late in the second quarter. And so they're grinding out. And you see this New Richmond defense putting some hands on their hips, getting tired.
Oh, yeah, absolutely tired at this point. The offense has run so many plays, I've lost track a long time ago. Brendan Lamb gets the ball, steps to the outside, takes a little shake and bake, and brings the ball to the 10-yard line.
Another tough run by Lamb. He can kind of do it any way he pleases. He can go around you, go through you. And that time he chose to juke a couple and then hit that DB there pretty hard.
Just a scoring update as well. East Clinton is down by 1 point, 7-6 to Claremont Northeastern, and that is the first quarter for them. So here at Clinton-Massie Stadium, you've got the Clinton-Massie Falcons 17, the New Richmond Lions 0. Looks like we have 3 minutes left. On the right-hand side, Brendan Lamb's able to get the ball down to about the 4-yard line. So that's going to be a Falcon first down, but it's also going to be inside the goal. Looks like 1st and 4 to the goal.
Yeah, looks like it's from the 4-yard line. Lamb takes it down there and had some very positive carries these plays.
If you're going down almost 3.5 scores to this team, Brendan Lamb's able to break at least one tackle, but he's gonna drive his legs. He's gonna end up down at about the 2-yard line. I'm sure Clinton-Massie doesn't want to bring in any opportunity for New Richmond to put them to a stop here right at the goal line, but they want to put another score in and kind of break the will of the New Richmond Lions. And you can tell by the body language of the defense right now, New Richmond's kind of tired, kind of sore.
They swarmed there and had to push back, but Massey didn't have enough push at their line to push them in.
Lamb has the eye backfield. He's able to bring the ball in. He's going to score again. So Clinton-Massie's going to go up right now 23-0 with the extra point still to come. Fans, we want to let you know that at halftime, we're going to start our halftime with an interview with Gabby Woods. Gabby Woods, the state qualified girls golfer, senior this year.
The legend.
The legend extraordinaire.
The legend.
She's an excellent young lady. We're going to start our halftime conversations with her and also enjoy a little performance from the band as well while EJ and I take just a moment, collect our thoughts, and bring it back for the start of the second half. So here with just a couple minutes left in the second quarter, Clinton-Massie attempts the extra point. It was a quick snap, kind of a rough hole, but Zantini's able to get the ball down, and the ball is good. So that's going to bring our score up to 24 for Clinton-Massie and nothing for the New Richmond Lions. So I don't know that it was unexpected that we're here right now at 24-0 with 2 minutes left. But Clinton-Massie has looked like a multifaceted tool on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they look like the Swiss Army knife tonight. They got the passing, they've got the rushing, and everything's just kind of clicking on all cylinders tonight, and that's what you like to see. Minus one fumble earlier in the game, everything's looked really good for the Falcons.
All right, so Clinton-Massie steps up to kick this ball off from the 40-yard line. Trevor McGinnis again. This is Grant Avey. Grant Avey set up for the kickoff. We want to welcome all of our listeners from across the country, those that might have been listening worldwide, seeing this game live on the Clinton-Massie YouTube channel. The ball gets to New Richmond at the 5-yard line. He's able to bring the ball out, but he's swarmed at the 18-yard line, and Clinton-Massie is going to bring him down at the 18 for about a 13-yard return. So Clinton-Massie with great coverage by that kickoff team. So right now you're seeing exactly what Clinton-Massie imposing their will defensively, imposing their will offensively, getting fresh bodies in there. I'm seeing on the defensive line you got Brody Muterspaw coming in this series. Last series you saw Colton Doyle. The series before that, Joe Boffman. You're able to get fresh bodies in every other defensive series. It keeps everybody excited, keeps everybody happy.
Yes, and then they're going to be fresh and ready to go. And again, you're pinning this team back with 80 yards to go. Great special teams play tonight.
New Richmond goes in motion.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's hit in the backfield and driven back by Garrett Trampler, number 22. Tackle on the play, excellent job. And Garrett is not just a hard tackler, he's got great form in his tackling. Clinton-Massie calls a timeout. I think that's a little interesting. McSorley's hoping maybe if they can stop them 3 quick ones here that they'll get the ball back and try one more.
He said all this talk about a close game, we don't want that. We want to take it. Matt, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If I know you're getting ready to go in the interview with Gabby Woods, how many strokes would she need to give you to break even with her in a 9-hole game?
I would say at least 40. and honestly, that might be giving myself way more credit than I deserve. I haven't picked up a club in quite a few years, and I think Gabby could beat me left-handed. So
I'm just saying this: if I'm playing a scramble, I want her on my team.
Yeah, absolutely. So we appreciate the fact that she's willing to talk to us here to start our halftime conversation. Also, talk about golf. I just was able to be a part of the Bryan Mudd Scramble. Was able to visit with some of the teams there. 26, maybe 27 teams that showed up. Brian's passing now, just about 3 weeks old. Was a great coach, a great mentor to students and staff here, and will surely be missed for a long, long time. And our thoughts and prayers go out with Tammy and the rest of the family. His daughter Sierra. I want to make sure that they're comfortable, and we're doing everything we can to honor his memory. So that was a great time at the golf outing. New Richmond brings the ball. Looks like they've made Lytle with a quick throw there, but they call a timeout again. Clinton-Massie with a quick timeout, so wow. They gain a few yards there, but still McSorley's hoping that they can pin them back enough to where they can get at least another shot at the end zone, whether it be by the long pass or a break. Garrett Trampler returning a punt, you never know. And
maybe this close to the playoffs, they may want to go over scenarios where you have a minute left.
Yeah.
And you need to march down the field, get some points in a very crucial time. I know watching Massie in previous years, they had that scenario about every year in the playoffs. They need to score within a minute or so. So this kind of maybe will give them that opportunity to do that, or maybe
Absolutely.
just McSorley just wants to put it to them. Who knows?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think some of it might be, but I think there's some dual opportunity there for a possibility there. But I think it's just an opportunity, like you said, to kind of go over a couple scenarios that you don't usually go to, and that is you're down late, or maybe you got a minute left on the clock and you want to see what happens, and you call a couple timeouts to get the ball back in your hands. So New Richmond's going to set up at the 25-yard line after the Clinton-Massie timeout. Clinton-Massie with their 4-man front with a lot of pressure. Lytle's going to be able to get about 2 yards on that, and Clinton-Massie again calls the timeout. So this will be 4th and 3.
Minute 40 left, looks like, on the clock.
Punt team's going to come on for New Richmond. If you're the new Richmond coach, what are you thinking here?
I think you want to get your defense up for this and say, okay, you've called the timeouts obviously to score on us, but give your team some confidence going into the half. Like, hey, we stopped them, we're able to stop them, and try to get a little bit of momentum here going into the half, even though it's just could be a Clinton-Massie stop.
I think for this, you treat it as a 0-0 series. You know, we've made the calls, the timeouts in order to get the ball back. This should be a 0-0 game in their minds right now, and you have to stop them on this drive to win it. So
yeah,
I mean that's the mentality.
Yeah, 30 points. Right? 30 points is just, you don't want to go into halftime with a 31-0 lead.
Right. So Clinton-Massie is going to set up in their punt return. That does bring Trampler back, and he's going to rest at about the probably about the 40-yard line. New Richmond sets up in punt formation. Ball clears the first line. The ball's kicked. It's going to go far to the right, and it's going to be out of bounds at about right at the 40-yard line. So it looks like New Richmond has had that plan. I think even though Trampler was able to return one this past time, the past series, I think the plan the whole time has been to get the ball to the sideline, and honestly, if it goes out, it goes out. They're not worried about it.
Smart move, but Massie only has a 56-yard field, and they definitely have time to get some points and add some points to their lead here as we head into the second half.
So Clinton-Massie is going to get the ball. They spotted that at the 44-yard line going out of bounds. So with about a minute and 33 seconds, Clinton-Massie is going to set up with trips right. Zantini gets the ball. Lamb is able to get about a yard or two on a quick pass. They'll set back up. They're going to set back up at the, looks like the 47-yard line.
Yeah, I'm getting this offense moving quickly here.
Yeah, Zantini calls the play from the line. Trips now to the left. Zantini under center gets the ball. Ball going to go to Brendan Lamb on this one. So I think the idea that we've seen once before already is they're going to go trips to one side and then hand the ball off to Lamb and see if they're thinking too much about those receivers.
Yeah, and we got one that's laid out on the field, and there he's moving a little bit. That's a good sign.
Yeah, now he's good.
He might have hit 23 coming through that hole.
Yeah, a little head-to-head contact by accident. Yeah, it looks like what they want to do is push him out. Push the receivers out wide to the left or wide
Spread
to the
that
right.
defense out.
Yeah, and then see if they can kind of crease Lamb in there with maybe a little trap play underneath. So right now it looks like Clinton-Massie can't see a number yet on that.
Can't see the number of the player. There's some trainers surrounding him and coaching staff, and so just hope all is well and pray for good health.
Yeah, we wish nothing but the best for him. So Clinton-Massie right now with a 27-0 lead with just 24-0 lead with 53 seconds left in this second quarter. What do you expect to see out of the starters in the second half?
I'm guessing they're going to play a little bit into the third quarter at least. Doubt you see a lot of them in the fourth quarter, depending on how motivated this Massie coaching staff is to make a statement. But you're probably going to see them two or three series in the third quarter. If I'm coaching it, that's what I'm doing, but I'm making sure everybody stays healthy for this playoff run.
Yeah, I think you also want to see what happens in that first series right after halftime. Are you going to drive a nice long 80-yard drive?
Yeah, take 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah,
6, 7 minutes.
If that's the case, then you get them out of there and let them rest at that point. But if it takes a little bit of movement and maybe you lose the ball or you have to turn it over on downs or whatever the case may be, then you might send them in for a second series just to make sure everything's okay. It looks like that New Richmond player, which we're still going to get a number for you, number 22. Number 22 is Mitchell Williamson, a starting running back linebacker. He's a senior and nice size kid. I actually saw him on the sideline warming up.
Thick lower body.
Very thick kid. So hope he's okay.
Good to see him walking off the field after that hit.
By his own power. So we're going to bring the action back to Clinton-Massie, New Richmond, 24-0 lead for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Looks like we have a I backfield with a tight end to
Spread
the
them out
left,
a little bit here,
and then a slot to the right. We're going to go left to right on your radio dial. The ball goes to
play.
Tate Oberdeen. He's going to go right out of bounds. So a quick strike,
And again, these plays are crucial as you get ready for the postseason to learn how to do these little plays, get out of bounds. And I like the execution that Zantini and Tate are working. Looks like they're going to get their chemistry working real good going into next week.
Now you're bringing in Garrett Trampler, senior, number 22. He's going to go to the slot on the right-hand side behind Brock Speaks, tight end. An empty backfield. That brings Brendan Lamb and Robbie Fredericks out wide. The ball's getting pitched to Garrett Trampler. Trampler takes the ball. He's able to...
Brendan 23 got called for blocking the back.
Yeah, it looked like as soon as Brendan got outside of Trampler, the yellow flag started flying, so they're going to call that on Brendan Lamb and bring the ball back. A little bit of an interesting play call there as far as running the ball with only about 40 seconds left in the half. But, Garrett Trampler comes in. He can break one at any time.
Well, I think that's it. You got running backs who can potentially get in the open field and break it, so that's an explosive play.
So Clinton-Massie is going to set up from the 47, from their own 47-yard line. Trampler checks out of the game. Van Hoos back in the game. Cody Zantini has the play, brings it to the huddle with a 24-0 lead. About 43 seconds left in this game. In this half. Before we go to halftime here and talk to Gabby Woods, state qualifier for Clinton-Massie girls golf. Wishbone backfield. Tate Oberding is out wide. The fake goes to...
There it is.
Tate's out. Ball goes to Tate. He's able to...
Almost brought that in.
Put a hand on it, but unfortunately wasn't able to bring that in. That was a nice play by the New Richmond Lions. They were triple covering him at that point.
I'm saying throw it to him. He can go up and make a play. I'm with him. You let him go make a play. If he don't make it, he's not going to let those DBs make it.
Yeah, and if anything, if you turn the ball over there within the 10-yard line, 90 yards to go with 30 seconds left or so.
But each time you do that, you're making the defense be honest. You're making them play back and not just put 8 guys up on the, in there and stop the run. So you like that call.
There was 3 defenders just on Tate in the defensive backfield, so you only had 8 in the box at that point. So trips right. Ball goes to Brendan Lamb. Brendan Lamb's able to break free. He makes one person. Then he's able to cross the line, the original line of scrimmage, by about 2 yards.
Here goes the hurry up.
They're on the line. They're going to set up. It looks like they're going to go trips right. Brendan goes into motion on the right-hand side. The ball is going to get cleared for Garrett Trampler, but unfortunately it's going to get overthrown. Trampler's overthrown by Zantini by just a few yards. That's going to be 4th down, and they still need 8 yards for the first down, and they've only got 10 seconds left on the clock in order to get that.
You go for it. Maybe a little out to Tate, get in the sidelines, but down here, 4th down, you're going for it. 8 seconds left on the clock. So
absolutely. So Clinton-Massie with Tate Oberding in at receiver. Van Hoos back in the backfield. Cody Zantini brings the play to the huddle, breaking the huddle and bringing the ball at the 40-yard line. Zantini down underneath center. Fakes the handoff. One pump.
He's there,
ball
wide
goes
open.
to Tate Oberding. Oberding needs to get out of bounds, though. He needs to get out of bounds. No timeout left. There's no timeouts left. The ball's not going to... Didn't get out of bounds. They're going to try to clock the ball real quick.
They're waiting on the call for the refs. Looks like we may have a little time left.
Zantini spikes the ball with 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds left.
And what I want to say about this, too, you got a sophomore quarterback, great quarterback, but being able to give him these opportunities for game management is crucial. I kind of like it. Now that I think about it, giving him this opportunity to learn how to run a clock and spike a ball is crucial. And so far, he's playing a great game.
And that's the reason why you had the 3 timeouts taken by Clinton-Massie, whether it was for the score or to maybe set these up like you said. So it's going to bring in Trevor McGinnis in order to kick the field goal.
And if you execute this and you go 50 yard or 30, 40 yards, set it up for a 3 points here, that's well executed. And you got to give hats off to Massey for marching the ball down the field. Looks like a little talk between the umpires right now.
That's the half. So they're going to call that the half there. And I'll be honest with you, that seems like it's correct because they should have run that clock as soon as the ball was spotted, and
time.
they didn't for some reason. So that's going to be the half of football, which is going to bring the half to an end with Clinton-Massie up 24-0 at the end of the first half against the New Richmond Lions. So just briefly, let's talk real quick before we get down to our conversation with Gabby Woods. We'll talk just a second about what you're seeing and what you're thinking about for Clinton-Massie so far.
Well, I did like the execution of that last play, marching the ball down the field, and just what they did. But Massey's doing what they do best. They're running the ball. They're sprinkling in the pass to keep them honest. I like what I'm seeing, minus the fumble there. I thought it's been a great first half for the Falcons.
Yeah, we'll bring some information, some stats back to you here, but we want to take just a moment and speak to our state qualifying girls golf. We'll say, I don't know that I have a list long enough for accolades. Can we talk to the public just a little bit? Gabby, I know this is not your style. You're not a braggadocious person. But talk a little bit about the success that you had this year and what were some of the things that we saw, how the girls did as far as in the league itself, and then what were you able to accomplish as an individual?
So this year we did great as a team. We actually, our first two matches, we had only won as a team by one stroke, but luckily we were able to get it back up, and we actually got a 20-stroke lead in about our third match. So we were team champs this year, which was awesome. That was our biggest goal of this year. And then as for myself, started off pretty good, consistent. But
I like the humbleness there. I started off pretty good, pretty good.
But my record low for this year was 5 under par 29 at Colonial Pines, which was awesome. Just feeling good and everything like that. I knew going in that course it was gettable. So I tried my best just to have my game prepared for that. I knew I could do pretty well there. So, and then we ended up 18-hole record was broke at Eagles Nest with a 70. So, but overall, it was just as a team and for myself, it was awesome. A great year.
So take us back. You transferred over to Clinton-Massie going into your 8th grade year, or was it your 7th grade year?
Going into my 8th grade.
8th grade year. So going into your 8th grade year. Big Larry decided to move you over here to Falcon Country. I remember that time and me not being very happy with him as the East Clinton High School principal, but of course, since I'm very excited and glad he did it. But just talk to me about what you expected coming over here. I guess in the wildest dream scenario, what did you feel was attainable for you as you came here in your 8th grade year and saw some success right off the bat as a junior high golfer, and then where did it go from there that you thought, okay, this could be something special?
Well, when I first decided to come over here, it was just the aspect of that you guys actually had a team, and I wanted
the junior high level.
Yes,
correct.
And actually, Clinton-Massie let me play with them in middle school, which was great. It started off golf for me, and I met a lot of great people. But yeah, we had some success at the middle school level, and I thought when freshman year came, I thought I need to make my statement and want to get where I wanted to go. So I set goals right off the bat and tried to achieve them the best of my ability. So.
And overall, what do you think, if you look back over the, we'll say, 4 years of varsity experience, what's been that one moment where everything kind of came together and you said, yeah, this is why I came, not only to Clinton-Massie, but this is why I've committed the hours and hours. I mean, I can't imagine how many buckets of balls you've hit. I can't imagine, you thanked your swing coach just a moment ago in the senior. I can't imagine the amount of prep that's been put into that and how many swings. I mean, honestly, if we were to try to figure it out, thousands of swings have been taken in preparation for the success you've had. Just bring us back together. What was that one moment where you kind of said, okay, this is coming together. This is where we want it to go.
To be honest, I knew my abilities. It progressed throughout my high school career, but senior year had to be the one year that I knew ultimately what I could do, and it gave me so much confidence. And when you get nervous out there, I guess I look at it like I've hit this shot 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Why can't I hit it 1,001 more?
Right.
And so I think a lot of senior year was also not only swing preparation, but mental toughness out there and things like that. But I think senior year was that year.
Was when it all came together.
Yeah.
So talk about that mental toughness. You and I have spoke actually before specifically about your sophomore year, maybe even your junior year, getting into that upper level and getting nervous. I mean, having some butterflies and struggling a little bit in those higher level courses, or not even courses, but that higher level playing. So what was it about the senior year and the preparation that you did that got you to the next level?
Again, I got to give perks to Doug Ledford, my swing coach. He's had so much experience himself, and you can ask him any question about mental toughness, and he can give you just a straight answer. And I think that really helped take it off. But then again, just realizing that you have to turn that nervousness into
energy,
adrenaline.
Yeah.
I'm here for a reason. I want to win, and that's what I'm here to do.
So you're at the state championship, 2-day event. After the first day, who's on top of the leaderboard?
I am.
Right. And not only that, I remember the front page, and I actually laminated it, gave a copy to Coach McGraw because I thought it would just be a special moment for him. You set a course record, or a record at least in that division of play and the division, I believe, above you as well.
Yes.
So talk about that day just a little bit and the experience of that day and kind of the excitement of setting that record.
To be honest, I didn't even know I set a record.
That's good, though.
Yeah. We went in that day, and I was hitting it good. I was
feeling it.
Yeah, and that picture on the front page, that shows you how relaxed I was.
Yeah.
I was just on autopilot, and but I came off the course, and I did leave some shots out there, but that's golf. You're always you can have your best round, and you look
still
back.
Leaving a few, yeah.
Yes. But came off the course, and I knew it was going to be a contender, but I didn't know where. And let me tell you, it was hard to sleep that night.
And then you get up the next day, have a good round. I think, honestly, the young lady that ended up kind of, somersaulting over you had won a championship already, and she's only a junior this year. Is that correct? Yeah, so very talented young lady, had a great finish. You talked about that picture on the front page, so talk about your relationship with Coach McGraw a little bit. You had mentioned Coach Ledford or, Doug, your swing coach. Talk about Tim and kind of what he's meant to you in these years here at Clinton-Massie.
Oh, it's crazy. We've when he first was my coach, I wasn't too sure, but then I got to know his background and how good of a golfer he was, and I knew he knew about the game. But honestly, McGraw, he's my best friend. I'm so thankful for him and all he has done for me. He's opened me up to so many opportunities, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Okay, so opportunities means the next question's got to come, and that's what's next? Where are you going? What are you doing? Is this one of those moments where I should turn the camera and you've got like 3 hats in front of you and you're like, I'm going to take my talents to? Yeah.
I actually just recently, last week, committed to the University of Findlay.
Excellent.
So I'm very excited.
Okay,
yes.
So what was Findlay's selling point? What was the reason? Because you had many offers, you had conversations with a lot of schools, and I think the longer this was drawing out, the more opportunities you're probably going to have, especially doing so well in the state tournament. So what was it about Findlay that you said, this is the place for me?
You've grown up in a small town all your life, and you go to class sizes that are 30 people max. And
max, yeah.
I didn't want to walk into a classroom of hundreds of people. That's
Right.
kind of scary. But Findlay's that college that's big enough to where you can venture out, but it's also small enough to where it's still that hometown feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I don't know how I was going to be 5 and 6 hours away from
Right.
family. So I think I made a good choice. So
And I think you might remember a conversation I had with you about one of the first decisions when you're accepting offers or whether you're having conversations about offers, you have to answer how far are you willing to go. That really is the basis of every other decision you make, because your parents want to see you play. You're not sure every once in a while if you need to just jump in a car and go home, whatever the reason might be. So knowing that distance first and foremost, and then going from there, kind of leads you to filter down a few of those choices. Like when Pepperdine in California comes calling,
Yeah.
you're not interested in that. So excited about that. So when will their process start? When will that whole kind of college season kick off going into next year?
So of course they actually have 2 seasons, so they'll have fall and spring.
Oh, okay.
There's only a few tournaments in each season, but they're big time tournaments, and they're also more 2-a-days than anything. But it will start when I go back to college fall. So
Okay, so we want to thank you for your time today, Gabby. Just number one, I'm going to brag on you for a second. I got to tell you, besides a great athlete, you're a fantastic young lady. The listeners, the viewers know this, but just wonderful to be around and just a joy to have in school. And we're going to miss you terribly when your time here is done.
well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, and I can't thank the Clinton-Massie community enough. So
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
you very
it.
much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So with us, kind of a surprise guest, with us is a former superintendent of Clinton-Massie Local Schools, Ron Ruddick. Ron Ruddick is kind of a staple in the Clinton-Massie community. Started as an administrator, went through superintendent for a decade or so, has come back and helped out in numerous other aspects of Clinton-Massie. Ron, thanks for joining us this evening, impromptu as it is.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Yeah. We also want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the levy that you came to the board meeting about, and just share with the listeners and the viewing audience what is it about this levy for the Clinton County Parks and Rec that's going to bring something to the table that we don't have right now.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Wasn't planning on talking about it, but we've given about 60 speeches throughout the county
It's
in
all
the last
bad
2
at this
months.
point.
So.
Yeah.
But no, it's an opportunity. I think if this levy passes, or when it passes, that we'd like to say that to create a park system that goes countywide. So there'll be opportunities for the villages throughout the county, the townships, even charitable organizations can access funds from the revenue. And then the major piece of it will be a community center, wellness center, rec center, whatever you want to call it, 50,000 square foot facility in Wilmington that'll be accessible by everybody in the county.
And let's talk about that in just a few phases there. You had mentioned that there's going to be a county-wide park system. So help some of our listeners and viewers that might be on the outskirts of the Clinton-Massie area, maybe the outskirts of East Clinton and Blanchester that are listening to us now. How are they going to benefit from that county-wide, not just the rec center that's probably going to be housed in Wilmington, correct?
Right, yeah, it'll be behind the high school, behind the Church of Christ there on Locust Street. But the idea is the revenues will be, over a 30-year period, it's going to bring in about $90 million. And 60% of that's going to be available for facilities, capital improvements. 40%, which is the nice part, is going to be available for maintenance and ongoing upkeep and operations. So the about 60% or 40% of that will be available for the county. So townships like in Sabina, they have a pool there. It's the only public pool in the county, but they have a hard time keeping it up. They have a hard time maintaining it. They can access funds from the revenue from the levy to do that. Clarksville, for example, has got a group working hard on building a park in the middle of town in Clarksville.
Yep.
They can access funds just through a grant, through an application process. Blanchester's looking at some major things, pool and maybe an indoor rec center on their own. Funds could be available to help with that. You know, I looked at something the other day, Matt. There's only really 2 funded parks in the county. That's Blanchester and Wilmington. The rest of the outlying areas, there's really not a whole lot out there. And what's out there, there's no funding for upkeep and maintenance.
Yeah, and I know I live outside of Clarksville, and I would echo those sentiments. In Clarksville, there's just no park, and the park that's existing right now, which is the old softball park, is just hard to maintain because the money's not there. The volunteer aspects are gone because people are just busy schedules right now, and they're not able to get out there and maintain them like we'd want them to. The Vernon Township Hall, needs repairs, certain things done to that as well. So, like you said, the funds would definitely be used by not just the rec center in Wilmington, but across the county. I think it's important that people understand that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of talk, a lot of questions. It's hard to get all that information out to 43,000 residents, in the county. We've done a great job, I think, with the campaign team of the Facebook page is outstanding, web page is outstanding, mailers, flyers. Like I said, Bill Peel and I and a couple other people have been out 60 different places in 2 months speaking, trying to get the word out. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Let's change our thoughts just a little bit here and go back to your Clinton-Massie days. Talk to us a little bit, and we just shared earlier in the broadcast about losing Brian Mudd, long time, 24-year, 25-year teacher, multiple-year coach, multiple championship coach, close friend of yours. Just talk to us a little bit about your experiences with him, and just share a story or two.
Yeah, Brian was a great guy. Obviously, we both have good taste in friends. He was. You and he were very close too, and appreciate, as I said when I came to the board meeting, what all the Clinton-Massie family did for Brian and Tammy.
It's unreal, the family support out here.
It is. It's a unique situation.
It is,
and it's one that I came to Clinton-Massie in 1987, so that was 32 years ago, and same type of setup, same system. So it's a great place to live, a great place to work. But Brian came. I was middle school principal, and Brian was middle school basketball coach. So I got to know this guy, this young kid that came in, and something just. He was just so smart. He was so bright, so witty, great personality, great teacher, and great coach. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is the kind of guy, kind of teacher, kind of person you want
build around
in this school and
Absolutely.
in this community.
Yep.
And he was. I think Sierra, his daughter, said, the greatest compliment you can have is when he walked into a room. You knew his presence. You knew he was there.
Yeah.
Not boisterous, not loud. It was just the aura, the way he handled himself. But I think one of the great stories for me was a few years ago we were negotiating, and we were looking at a health savings account type of a health system. And we were just getting ready to change to it, and I was doing a lot of presentation because I thought it was great for the staff, great for the school. And I was trying to convince Brian. I said, Brian, you're probably at that time 30 years old, so you're in great health. This money is going to go into a savings account. You get a high deductible, but you're not sick. You're healthy. You're just going to keep accruing money. You're going to keep accruing funds. Well, I think it was the first game in basketball after the new year. We just implemented it, and I was running the clock or something at the scores table, and they halftime. Well, about 2 minutes into the third quarter, I looked down on the bench, and Bryant's not there. I thought that was strange, and I waited. I thought maybe he's went somewhere and coming out. He never came out. So I went down, talked to the trainer. I said, what's going on? I said, well, Brian had to go to the hospital. I think he's got appendicitis.
Oh.
So I went in and apologized.
Yeah.
I said, that savings account took a hit.
It's empty now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many stories that we could share, and I think one of the greatest compliments, as you said earlier, besides his presence in the room, was at his celebration of life. We knew right away in the conversations that we had, you and Travis and I, that a funeral home wasn't going to hold it.
Right.
There was no way that was going to, it didn't matter what size funeral home, and anything in this tri-state area wasn't going to be enough. So being able to have it at Clinton-Massie local schools in the high school gym, a gym that he coached many games in, won championships in, attended as a fan, attended as a staff member. It was able to bring in 500 or so people, and I'm sure there was many more that wanted to be there that couldn't for other responsibilities they had. But when I looked back, I had some pictures taken on my phone that I just lifted my phone up and just snapped a few pictures to try to get any kind of random response. And just looking at the depth of people and the amount of people really warmed my heart to know that he was so well loved and so well liked by so many. So I appreciate your support of him over the years, and I know you guys are really good friends, and I know your support for Tammy and his daughters here will continue on. Just think, just like you said, how it's important to get that type of teacher and that type of coach in the school district with so many years of experience as superintendent. What's something that you've seen besides that family atmosphere that's unique to Clinton-Massie?
Well, I think one thing that comes to mind is it's the community center.
Yes.
There's really not Clarksville, and you've got Harveysburg,
Yeah.
you've got Kingman, but no, the community center, when there's something going on in the community, unfortunately, in my time, I had to deal with a couple students' deaths, I had to deal with a couple teachers' deaths, and you didn't have to publicize that we're going to meet at the school. People just showed up.
Yes.
If it was during the day, if it was during the evening, this is where they came. So it definitely the community, the family center, and going back to the levy, schools are going to be able to, and townships are going to be able to access funds too. So if there's things that the county can do, that this levy could do for the school and for the township, it's Adams Township,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, that's correct.
So they could have an opportunity to add on to some things out here. So keep that in mind.
Excellent.
Once this passes. But I think that's the biggest thing. It's a family. It's the home of the district.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you've done, and you've been thanked many times, but I'll continue to thank setting it up in my position now. We wouldn't be where we're at right now without you leading that way for a decade, not only as an administrator, but as the superintendent. Every time I walk through the buildings, and every time I'm sure you pass down Lebanon Road, has to just kind of be a little gleam in your heart, just a little bit, say, hey, that's something I was able to be a part of and have my hands in.
Yeah, it's a great source of pride.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Ruddick, for joining us, and we're going to come back to game action in just a second. We're bringing the teams back on the field. I'm going to hand the mic over to E.J. Lamb for just a second while I take just a moment away from the mic and collect some thoughts. And E.J., if you want, you can share your thoughts with the people about the first half, and then maybe talk a little bit about what your expectations for the playoffs and the setup for the league. Also about what your thoughts about playing time for our starters in the second half.
Yeah, just a great start all around for our Falcons there tonight, and just to see them execute probably close to a couple hundred yards on offense and on the rushing attack, and so it's phenomenal to see them and see what they're doing. So as we look into the playoff picture, we're looking at some great teams right now at the top, with Wyoming at number 1 in Division 4 as the playoffs get ready to start here in just a couple weeks. And then we have Indian Hill number 2, Clinton-Massie coming at number 3, and then an old rival of Clinton-Massie, the Waynesville Spartans, at number 4. So as you see those top teams there and you see them, it's going to be a fun couple weeks here coming up. And I think as we see Massey establish tonight their dominance even over a rival that's 3-0 in the conference, you see how good they really can be and the potential that they have here this year. And so rounding out the top 8 spots here in the local region of Division 4, region number 16, you have Kenton at number 5. You have Roger Bacon at number 6, a really, really good team. Milton Union at number 7, and then rounding it out at number 8, you have Bethel Tate. So you have a great top 8 here, looks like. And so if they were to end today, 8 would be playing 1. Bethel Tate would be at Wyoming, Indian Hill at Milton Union, then Clinton-Massie would face Roger Bacon, which would be a pretty good first-round matchup there. So we've got some good teams at the top here. Looks like we're going to get ready to start here the second half action in just a few minutes here, and they'll be starting and kicking off here. I suspect to see the Clinton-Massie starters maybe half of the third, maybe all of the third quarter, and then probably resting most of the fourth quarter here. So as we see it tonight, I think you'll see this rushing attack come in and hit the ground running starting in the third quarter as they get ready tonight, and they're warming up. New Richmond going through their stretches, and Clinton-Massie getting ready for the second half. We have some playing and some passing that's been going on. You don't see a lot of that out of Massey, but you see tonight them working on their passing game, kind of getting some tweaks worked out of that and just getting ready and getting prepared for that. So you see a passing offense that's starting to kind of get some footing here, and you see the rushing attack here that is looks around 200 yards rushing in the first half. So we're getting ready for action here. They're getting ready to come in here and start this second half action here at Frank Irelan Field. So what a game we've had thus far. Just one turnover for the Falcons, one fumble, and playing very, very good football thus far. Indian Hill needs to get some motivation to maybe get out and get an early score to kind of give them some confidence to get back in this game. And so love to see New Richmond come out here, get a touchdown, kind of get back into this game and get some confidence, get that quarterbacks out in some open space, but really hard with this fast, quick Clinton-Massie defense. This Massey defense just a bit of an underrated part of their team, but man, one of the fastest defense you've seen here around here for a few years, and you just see them swarming to the ball, and they've had quite a few shutouts already this year, and looking to pose a threat to do another round to shut out New Richmond here in this game tonight. Looking down at number 23, Brendan Lamb stretching out, getting ready to enter the game, and the teams are getting ready for kickoff in here in just a moment to start this second half action here at Frank Irelan Field.
Bringing it back, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this second half of play. Clinton-Massie with the 24-0 lead. EJ, your thoughts as far as what your expectations are for the Stars playing the second half. You just shared with the audience. I would like to throw mine in there, and I'd say if we see a nice long drive, and I'm talking, like you said, that 8 minute long drive that eats up a whole lot of clock, and then all of a sudden we're up, at that point 31-0. I'd say your starters are going to get pulled, especially starting on defense. They're going to be lucky to get back into the maybe one full drive, and then the night's over for them.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's 24 if New Richmond could potentially get a stop and a score. They're a couple scores away, but they'd love to get some confidence here and march it down on this defense and get a score. But right now, that Massey defense has been staunch.
And I guarantee you McSorley has talked to them about a second half and not giving them any points whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
Ball's going to go into the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback for the Falcons, bringing the ball out to the 20-yard line for New Richmond. So just talking stats, talking about the first half, what are some of the things that we saw about New Richmond's offense that either gives you a little bit of concern in the second half or shows you a little bit of interest?
You see that there's definitely big play potential in that quarterback as he went for about a 50-yard run earlier. So the potential is there. They've got a good running back as well, number 12 in the backfield with Lytle, the quarterback. If you can get those guys out in space, they can make a move. They can hurt you, but that's just been the issue. Getting out in space has been few and far between.
Yeah, and especially with Clinton-Massie and the pressure that you've seen come from them all game at this point. Braxton Green's name's been called. Noah Corbett's name's been called. Colton Trampler's name's been called. So right now, Clinton-Massie looks like they got the 40 front looking two linebacker set. They're going to be able to bring the quarterback down after about a almost 5-yard gain. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lytle keep it in his hands a few more times. The passing game's been sporadic, and I'd say their best offensive weapon is clearly him, so why not let him do it? Similar to the gentleman they had last year, the I believe Anderson kid. He was an unbelievable athlete. Ball quickly out of his hand. Ball's actually separated from the receiver by Garrett Trampler. Garrett Trampler lays out the New Richmond receiver there, and they're going to call for an injury penalty. That young man's going to step off to the sideline. That's number 24 for New Richmond, and that's Randy Hammonds, a 12th grade safety wide receiver. So we're going to put the ball back in play. Ball's resting at the 23, 24-yard line with Clinton-Massie 3rd down and 6 for a first down for New Richmond.
Garrett Trampler looks like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah.
And he's precise. Like you said, he's a great tackler.
So the ball's going to go and stay in the hands of the quarterback as we expected. It's going to be 4th, and it looks like a long 2 for New Richmond Lions here. And I'd say at this point, the punt team has not came onto the field yet. You're down 24-0. I guess maybe why not
Yeah.
Nope, no, it looks like they're going to filter the punt team back in here. So punt return team for Clinton-Massie sets up. That puts the ball possibly into Garrett Trampler's hand, but we've seen all game so far. It looks like they're trying to keep the ball away from Trampler by kicking it to the sideline.
Yeah, he's explosive.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see another right kick here. Almost blocked by number 20, Carter Franks. And the ball's going to go out of bounds. It looks like every time it's about a 20 to 25-yard punt and off to the right-hand side.
Yeah, they're keeping it away from him, and that's smart on their part. He's very explosive, very dynamic in the open field, so smart of them to kick away from him. But in doing so, they're going out of bounds and giving Massie a short field to work with.
So Clinton-Massie started the second half with a 24-0 lead on their first offensive series of the second half. Looks like the starters are staying in there for certain coming out of the locker room. We'll see how long that lasts depending on how this first series or two goes. Cody Zantini under center. Robbie Fredericks behind him. Brendan Lamb goes into motion. The counter to Carson Van Hoos. Carson Van Hoos breaks through the first line of defense into the second line of defense and into the defensive backfield with about a 14-yard gain on first down. And I'll tell you, he looked fast there.
Yeah, he looked quick through the hole, and that's good. Everything's a good sign that you're seeing tonight out of these running backs, healthy and moving the ball quickly.
Yeah, that counter action definitely took New Richmond by surprise. They hadn't run that play yet this game. So Van Hoos with the counter and about a 14-yard gain to start the second half in the first offensive series. Ball rested about the 37-yard line from Zantini to Brendan Lamb's hands. Brendan Lamb shakes, he moves, he spins, he's pushing the pile. Almost another first down. It looks like they're probably going to give him a first down if they spot the ball where the line judge is at, and they're going to, so that's going to be a first down. So back-to-back first downs.
Back-to-back first downs. Looked like it took about 6 men to get Lamb down there, and they finally got him down on the tackle there. But, yeah, they didn't skip a beat from first half. Looks like they're marching the ball down, and great blocking by this offensive line.
Ball goes into the hand of Carson Van Hoos around the corner. Van Hoos is able to break through the line of defense from the linebackers. He's shouldered out of bounds. The thing about Van Hoos, he's getting so fast that his own momentum helped the tackler go out of, push him out of bounds.
Yeah, hitting hard. He just got hit hard. It's hard-hitting defense, but it was after he'd gained 13, 14 yards.
Yeah, at least New Richmond didn't jump up and start, pumping their chest out. I think it's hilarious when people make tackles 15, 20 yards down the field and kind of shoulder up a little bit, and I'm thinking, that's 2 first downs you just gave up. Why are you so excited? Wishbone backfield, Zantini under center. The ball goes to Lamb. He stays low. He breaks up to the top, almost in.
Touchdown.
And they're going to, nope. Yep, they are going to call that a touchdown. I didn't see the middle judge there had put his hands up. So that's going to be another score for Lamb. Does that make him 3 so far? That's 4 so far for this game.
29 for the year.
29 for the year, ready and going on that stat. It's almost like you had those memorized or something like that.
Well, they told me he was close with the quarterback in New Richmond. We found out later that passing touchdowns don't count, but I think he's making a statement tonight. There's one leader in scoring in the conference.
Yeah.
So
there's one man when it comes to scoring for the SBAAC. McGinnis is going to kick.
And he's got a nose for the end zone.
And that's going to be good, so that's going to put your score at 31-0. After one series, they drove the ball about, we'll call it 55 yards or so. It took all of maybe 3 minutes. Are the starters done at this point?
I don't know. I'm going to guess they're coming in for one more series.
One more series.
Massey's had bigger leads, that they have rested their players, but we'll kind of see how this shakes out here.
Yeah, it wasn't 56-0 at halftime at least, so it seemed to be a little bit better than that. With that offensive fumble and then the interception and return, they stayed on schedule for the amount of score so far this first half, and then coming into the second half, scoring on their first possession. I don't think the starters are that much longer to be in. So we'll see as they kick off. Grant Avey is set up to kick the ball off from the 40-yard line. The ball's going to get end over end and deep about the 20-yard line, picked up by New Richmond, and there does look to be an opening along the side, number 27. There's going to be a flag coming in from the side judge here.
A little laundry on the field.
Yeah, it seems like looked like a clean play going out of bounds, but they'll sort out the the issue here in just a second. So while we're waiting on them, we're going to check some other scores of other games. So Claremont Northeastern up 21-6 on East Clinton, and our friends from Wilmington, the Wilmington Hurricane, are tied 7-7 at half with the Western Brown Broncos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Goshen then. We'll see how the Goshen Warriors are up 21-0 at half on Batavia, which was actually the score earlier on in the game. It seems like Goshen is maybe taking just a moment in their scoring break.
Yeah.
Clinton-Massie brings their defense back onto the field. That actually must have went against Clinton-Massie because the ball is advanced to the 47-yard line. New Richmond's going to start with a 2-by-2 motion by number 4 in the backfield. The ball goes to number 14. He's tackled immediately by Nolan Prignitz, and the ball comes out, so it's going to be called off. It's an incomplete pass to number 14 for New Richmond. That would be Austin Suttle, a junior wide receiver for the Lions.
Yeah, it looks like the defense, again, hasn't missed a beat, minus a slight penalty there on special teams. Defense is just doing their normal swarming to the ball, quick to the ball.
You saw fatigue set in late into the first half.
Yeah.
Is that a concern for New Richmond?
Oh, without question. They're going to get wore down with one more of these drives, looks like, and trying to get this quarterback in space. But what you notice is, as quick as he is, that Massey defense is just as quick to the ball.
I'll tell you what, I was watching Joe Boffman. Bobby's his dad, but Joe Boffman right there. That was an excellent play by Joe. He was engaging his offensive lineman. He shed him and then made the tackle. As soon as that quarterback started to break into his run on the right-hand side, Joe was able to disconnect from the offensive lineman, make the tackle, and then he's going to lose a solid 2 yards on that play. But it looks like they are... the penalty is, there's a penalty on the field, and it's going to go against Clinton-Massie. There's going to be a personal foul targeting. So they're calling a targeting penalty against a Clinton-Massie player. So McSorley gets from the refs the explanation, shrugs it off, and we continue to
They're
play.
moving the ball. They're moving the ball down the field with these penalties.
Yep, so Clinton-Massie's going to now have to defend from the 39-yard line. Lytle fakes the handoff. He's able to gain a solid 6 yards there, almost 7. Yeah, it's going to be about 6 yards to start this new set of downs off. Clinton-Massie gave him a little bit of chance to run there. Faked the handoff, brings the guard back around to Poole, and runs a little sweep or a little trap set to the left.
Yeah, these penalties giving New Richmond a little bit of life, a little bit of momentum here, and they're taking advantage of it. Now they're marched down deep in Massey territory, so it'd be good for them to get a score here, get their confidence up.
Lytle's in the shotgun. He's going to step back, and he's got a defender in his face, and that's going to be Colton Trampler.
Big Colton.
Colton Trampler is able to bring him down. Lytle's going to be pulled up by his teammates. Trampler on the blitz there is able to get home on that defensive
playmakers.
Series.
Defensive playmakers.
Absolutely. And Colton Trampler is just a sophomore. He's somebody that they've recognized right away is going to be able to contribute as a sophomore. He's been starting since pretty much day one. He started on the D-line while Brock Speak was out for a couple games, moved to linebacker, and it was seen as a benefit at linebacker, so they kept him in that position and moved Speaks over to tight end after the injury to Charlie Hale. Lytle's flush from the pocket. He's taken down right. Oh, no, he's able to elude a couple tackles there and get 5 yards on the play, almost 7 from the original line of scrimmage. But they are going to make a timeout.
Ooh. Hate to see that out of him.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see any young man hurt, but that is the entire offense is going to run through him. Yeah, no doubt. Without him, they're going to struggle in order to move the ball. So Clinton-Massie making sure that this young man is okay is the first and foremost important thing in this. But they understand that you take out the quarterback, you're going to take out, as you said, the central piece to make this happen.
Yeah, you see both teams take a knee, just having a little reverence for the occasion of what's going on here. And Just hoping and praying that everything's okay with Is that Lido, I assume?
Lido was down.
That's what I thought.
So let's check while we have just a moment. Let's check some of the scores of teams that we'll be looking at for playoffs. The Wyoming Cowboys come to my mind. So they are winning at Taylor 37-0.
Yeah, taking care of business.
You said Waynesville won yesterday evening against a kind of feisty Northridge team, correct?
Yeah, it was a real gritty game, 16-8. Not a lot of scoring, but Waynesville's got a great, fast defense. Would remind you a bit of Massey's defense, quick to the ball, and got enough done offensively to pull it out.
Right. Indian Hill is up 44-0 in the CHL battle against Finneytown. Now, Finneytown has struggled for many, many years in football, although I do know they produce pretty good superintendents, I believe.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that about them. So the backup quarterback, which is number 19, is immediately brought down. He's met.
And he meets Braxton Green.
Yeah. Bo Snyder, he's a 10th grader, is the backup QB and also a defensive back. Braxton Green says, "Welcome to the game, young man."
Yeah, you hear the name Braxton Green a lot. I keep saying, well, this is your standout defensive player. And then you see Colton Trampler do a play and say, well, this is your standout. Or you see the DBs who are fast to the ball. You just realize there's a lot of defensive playmakers on this Massey defense. And that bodes well with playoff season coming.
Roger Bacon also in the playoff hunt for Region 4, or Division 4, Region 16. Looks like they're up 46-0 against Norwood. So I'd say they feel pretty confident about that. The ball gets turned over to Clinton-Massie. Clinton-Massie with the fake.
Nice catch.
Ball goes into the hands of Robbie Frederick. There's that just a little bit of receiving that he's been doing all year long. He gets a little screen pass. He gets a little out pass. That's that wrinkle that they're expecting him to be able to do as the playoffs come along.
Yeah, and then great hands. You see great hands out of these running backs as well. Little part of their game that doesn't get recognized a lot, but they all seem to be able to catch well out of the backfield.
Yeah, actually, I think all three of them have more than 3 receptions. This play is going to go and get stuffed in the backfield there. It looked like that was Robbie Frederick.
Yep.
Gets brought down quickly by the Lions defense. I think you're going to see each one of those running backs with more than 3 receptions for the year, and those are just going to build over these last couple games. So it's definitely an aspect of the team that, you know, at years before we've talked about maybe not being the most precedent-setting thing. We're not known as a passing team. We're known as a running team. In fact, to the point of almost, you know, not passing at all season long. So if you throw that wrinkle in there, even just a little bit, it's going to make people think. Brendan Lamb gets the ball. He's able to push past the line to gain for a
and
first
just work
down.
his way through that line.
Yeah.
Kind of go sideways, front. You know, a couple jump steps there, and he just has a nose for first downs and get him in the end zone. He's got a nose to get in for a touchdown, and so looks like we got a man down, number 57 for Clinton-Massie.
That's Bobby Boffman.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy.
Oh, that's Kennedy. Okay,
Looks like Brian
57.
Kennedy's down.
Gotcha.
Brian Kennedy came back to play this year.
Yep.
Didn't play last year, and it's just been a great, great addition to this line, and you hate to see him on the ground like that.
Yeah, coming back out, like you said, had played when he was younger, took a few years off, focused on baseball. He's an excellent baseball player. Actually came into the year with an elbow injury, and there was some concern there that he'd be able to even compete for a starting position because of that injury. He's done an excellent job,
Yes.
Been a staple on that line. Missed a couple games due to that injury, but was able to get back for the big game against Heartland. Did a great job in that win. Coach McSorley out there just kind of keeping an eye on his player. Seems like he was rolling around in a tremendous amount of pain. We're hoping that that was more of a shock rather than anything. Yep, he's able to at least get up on his feet, uses his coaches and some of the trainers to support his weight.
But not putting any weight down on that right leg at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So that's a concern. So Clinton-Massie's going to have to next man up mentality.
Yep.
I know that we've seen Lane Schultz in the lineup earlier this year, number 60. Yep, Lane Schultz is a sophomore, 6 foot, 215-pound offensive lineman. I know at one point he was playing center. It looks like that's who they're going to put in the game right now. So just like the new quarterback for New Richmond, you got a new center for Clinton-Massie. Welcome to the game, Lane Schultz. And then you got Brendan Lamb. That makes things kind of easy for your hurt center.
Wow. Wow.
So, of course, we're going to give the credit to that block to Lane Schultz because he just came in the game, so obviously he made it, right?
Yes, I'm telling you what, they ran right up the middle, right up behind him, and so Lamb with another great run there. Number 5 on the night for him, and Massey's getting ready to spread this thing wide open.
Yeah, I'd say at this point you're going to have to tell your guys that, their time is just about done. Let's get some of these young guys some work in. You see the spirited Clinton-Massie student section running the flags in triumph at another score for Clinton-Massie. Great support from the community here. Great support from the staff and the students. Clinton-Massie is a very close-knit, we call it the Falcon family here. Trevor McGinnis with another extra point, and that is good. So that's going to bring, with 4:17 left, Clinton-Massie 38, New Richmond 0.
And running attack is clicking on all cylinders tonight, and looks like maybe a night for those starters, but we'll see what McSorley decides to do here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point he tries to work in a few more other people to get them some experience. You've got a varsity squad over here for New Richmond. You want to get these young guys against good varsity competition, so why not put them in and get some experience here late into this third quarter and into the fourth quarter for Clinton-Massie.
Absolutely. Yep, get them as much experience as they can, and just let everybody get a share of this game.
Clinton-Massie sets up for the kickoff of the 40-yard line. That's Grant Avey. Grant Avey's done a lot of kicking this evening.
Yes, he
quite
has.
a bit of kicking.
A lot of scoring.
Yep.
38 points.
Ball is sent to about the 10-yard line. New Richmond brings the ball back, and he's tripped up right about the 25 by Blake Ireland and Carter Uten. You've kind of actually seen those two guys around most of the tackles this evening on kickoff. Carter Uten at least has been on 3 or 4 of them. I know Brock Speaks made a big hit on one. So you do see, I'm looking at the defense right now, and I'm seeing a few defensive starter changes. Luke Ruther's in the game right now. Luke Ruther is a senior, great young man. He's a 6'3", 175-pound middle linebacker that's working for Clinton-Massie right now, getting some experience here under the lights and in front of his family, in front of his friends. Very exciting. He's going to blitz on this play, get caught up in the wash, and New Richmond airs the balls out. And it looked like he had about a half a step on Nolan Prignitz on that if he was able to complete it.
But good coverage even at that. Good coverage even at that.
Over his head on that one. So also into the game for the Clinton-Massie Falcons, number 37. Number 37 should be Chase Camps. He is a defensive end that's a senior. Able to see some of these gentlemen that have worked hard to be a part of this team for years and years get a little playing time here late into the third quarter against New Richmond.
And it looks like this defense is still swarming to the ball.
Yeah, there's still a spattering of starters in there. Braxton Green just made that tackle. Garrett Trampler's still in there. Tate Oberding's still in there. I tell you, McSorley does not like to give up points. In fact, when you look at the division, I believe if you look at the stats, they've only given up, gosh, I think 9 league points or something like that. It's next to nothing.
Yeah, yep, and he's he don't want to give up any tonight, that's for sure.
So Carter Frank is out here wide covering this outside receiver. Ball's released, fires it over the head of number 24. Again, you've got a backup quarterback, a sophomore in there, number 19 for the New Richmond Lions, Bo Snyder. Bo Snyder tries to clear that pass out to number 24, his senior running back receiver, Randy Hammonds, but the ball sails over his head.
Got to be tough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Matt. Got to be tough on a young quarterback to come in and face, this defense, the Clinton-Massie defense like they have.
And you haven't had the experience. He hasn't taken the same reps. I mean, Lytle was the entire offense. Everything ran through him, so I'm sure he got the majority of snaps in practice, so you've got timing issues with the receivers. It's going to be a little while before they're able to connect. So this time the kick goes off the side of his foot and is going to go out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Honestly, that's only going to be about a 13-yard punt.
Looks like we got some new ones coming in here.
Yep.
As they trot out to the field here.
So Lane Schultz is still in for Brian Kennedy, but you do have Boffman in there. It's Colton Doyle, Brody Muter-Spall.
Well, I guess most
Davis.
of us
You're the starting line, including Brock Spreeks at tight end. You got Carson Van Hoos. Brendan Lamb still in the game, so you've got your complete starting offense out there, which, like we said, is an opportunity at this point to maybe put one more score on and then let them rest for the rest of the night.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what statement McSorley would want to make. There's the counter to Van Hoos. Van Hoos is able to get a quick 5 yards out of that. I mean, excellent job. He hits the hole very quickly, and he's able to elude a couple tackles and get into the other side of the defense there. Tate Oberding brings the play to Cody Zantini in the huddle.
You like how 23 sells that fake around the end, kind of throws the hands up?
Yeah.
And kind of sells that fake around the end to help him get out a few more yards.
Robbie Frederick with the block on that and that counter as well. Ball goes to Van Hoos again. Van Hoos is able to break through the first line of defense into the defensive backfield. Looks like, depending on the spot of the foul, they're going to call a first down. There you go. Van Hoos with 2 back-to-back carries. At this point, you want to get him a couple touches, make sure that he can feel like, he's a part of this offense,
Absolutely.
An integral part of the offense. So that's going to be end of the third quarter as the Clinton-Massie Falcons hold up the big 4 fingers to let them know and let the sidelines know that we still got 1 quarter play left here, with Clinton-Massie in a commanding lead of 38-0 as we start the fourth quarter. So just taking us through the remainder of this game, what's your expectations for the offense? Once this series is over, I'd have to say your starters are done.
Yeah, my expectation has already been met for the night.
Right.
They played well. Offense has played well in all facets, and I think you're going to keep everybody healthy. That's number one objective at this point. And so as we heed Sweet Caroline, that is music to the ears of these Falcon fans.
Right.
And they're coming out here, going to trot out here, probably play one more set of downs here. So looks like here comes 23, number 6, and most of the offensive line's coming out here to probably get one more drive in them before this night's over for them. And they can go get their pork chop on a stick.
Hey, there you go. If they've got any extra ones, they can bring them up here. So just a quick note on other teams looking at potential playoffs. Milton Union is up 34-7 on the New Lebanon Dixie Greyhounds. They're resting right now at number 7 in the playoff contention. Bethel Tate behind them is up 26-14. Roger Bacon up big on Norwood. Waynesville won last night. Clinton-Massie in a commanding lead here, and then both Indian Hill and Wyoming looks like they're going to take victory. So looks like everybody other than a Kenton score we can't find right now is going to be successful in a victory this week, which should keep things relatively tight in the playoff run. It looks like Robbie Frederick's able to break through the first couple would-be tacklers. He brings the ball to about the 15-yard line. And it looks like there's going to be a flag. That's going to go against New Richmond, a face mask penalty.
Well, nice run again by Robin. I think one of the great things that 23 does, Brendan Lamb, is after he's had 5 touchdowns, he becomes a great decoy. They're following him as he goes in motion around the end. They're watching where he's at, and that just opens up the game for all of your other running backs.
Yeah, into the game for Clinton-Massie. Number 84 is Dawson Conley. Dawson Conley getting some varsity action here this evening in this double tight set. Looks like a wishbone backfield. Brendan Lamb, Carson Van Hoos, and Robbie Frederick. Ball goes to Carson Van Hoos. He's able to try to get around the side, and he's going to skirt into the end zone with a score for Carson Van Hoos that brings this game right now from a 40-0 lead with the extra point. 44-0 lead with the extra point looming just a second here. We're scoring so many times, I'm losing track of the score.
Yeah. Looks like it's going to put us, is that 44?
That's 44 right now, so with the extra point
pending
coming,
the extra point.
Yeah, pending the extra point, give us a 45-0 lead. And at this point, you can tell the heart's just not in it for New Richmond. I think they might be wanting to warm the buses up here pretty soon. So that one's going to be good by Trevor McGinnis. He's been perfect so far on the night on all the extra point attempts.
Do you know by chance the stats on him for the year? Because he's just played a great year. Very, very accurate kicker for the Falcons.
Yeah, we'll get you some numbers on that. For those of you that know, we are part of the SBAAC, which is the Southern Buckeye Athletic and Academic Conference. And in that league, had a lot of success already this year. As Gabby said in our halftime report, the girls were able to win the golf championship. And with Gabby as your number one, I'd say that would be the expectation. So looking at some numbers here. Clinton-Massie, see, Trevor McGinnis. For the year he's had before this game, 44 extra points attempted and 44 extra points made.
Wow.
So we'll have to add the ones on. And he's also got 4 out of 6 field goals. So he's got a 66% completion.
That's a phenomenal season.
And now he's going to kick this ball off here. They're allowing him to kick off this time. And he's going to pick it up at the 5. And he's going to get swallowed up about the 20 or so.
Yep. Wow. And when you have a kicker who's perfect with extra points and 4 for 6, I'm sure he'd like to have a couple of those back that he missed. But you can't ask for anything better than that out of a kicker.
56 points total. So like you had said before, Clinton-Massie brought Brendan Lamb into this game after rushing for 1,272 yards up to this point with 156 attempts in 8 games with an average of 8.2 and 25 touchdowns. He's been able to add the 5 onto that, giving him 30 total touchdowns. He's also had an average pass completion of 19.5 yards. So has a couple receptions that keeps everybody honest. They know that he can come out of the backfield if he needs to. Adds another little wrinkle to that. So Bo Snyder takes the ball. He runs it to the left-hand side. Looks like there's some open room there. He's brought down eventually by a Clinton-Massie tackler on the far side of the field. That's number 20, Carter Frank. And I think that the Clinton-Massie, although they're sprinkling in a few people.
Yeah, they're still keeping in quite a few defensive starters, looks like, out there. They don't want to give up any points.
I don't believe they do. Right now it looks like the total points that they've allowed to the league is 7. And that was one lone score by Goshen. 0 Wester Brown and 0 from Batavia. So, yeah, they want to keep that egg up on the board, the big 0 for New Richmond. So the ball goes to Snyder. Snyder fakes it. He's going to keep it. He comes around with a hard hit.
Gets about 2 or 3, looks like, out on the run there.
Absolutely. Clinton-Massie player helps him off the turf. 2nd and 7 for New Richmond.
And, you know, credit to this young man coming in, playing, and making some plays now. A little bit elusive. And looks like he's got a bright future the next couple of years for the Lions.
Does look like he's going to be a good player for him. Looks like he's got a little bit of speed to him. Was able to break through the first couple lines of defense there. He's going to hand the ball off, and that's going to get swallowed up pretty quickly. Maybe a yard or 2 at most. We had mentioned rushing leaders for the conference. Obviously, Brendan Lamb is number 1 with Jacob Duty, the gentleman that went out as the starter of New Richmond, was number 2 in yards. Todd Wedding, 3-year starter, I believe a senior over at East Clinton, is actually number 3, followed by a couple Williamsburg and Fayetteville Perry kids.
Oh, look at that penetration. Wow.
Nice play by Colton Trampler in the backfield there. When he decides to blitz, he's coming whether you want to try to stop him or not. There's no doubt he's on a mission at that point.
Matt, do you want to see the Falcons play Wyoming in the playoffs? This defense against that offense? I know Wyoming, they're phenomenal, but Man, our defense, I love the way they're playing.
They're quick. I think Wyoming, I won't call them one-dimensional because I'll be honest, I haven't been able to see them, so I don't want to say anything. But I do know that Prater is a majority of the offense. They want to run the ball with him. They're going to get the ball in his hand and do a lot of fun things with him. He's going to get, the run option passes, and it's fun to watch a quarterback with that much skill. Now, obviously, if you put a couple hits on him and make him a little weary of coming through that line, not that he hasn't been through that kind of stuff before, but it's an opportunity to maybe shake him up just a little bit.
Got some new faces on the field for the Falcons right now.
Okay, so coming on to the offensive side of the ball, number 17. That's Blake Ireland. So Blake Ireland's able to take the pitch over to the left, and that was in the game for, should be Donald Brewer. Yep, Donnie Brewer, junior, 6', 175, backup quarterback. Usually runs quarterback for the reserve team, so he's able to get a few snaps here on the varsity level with a commanding lead by Clinton-Massie over the new Richmond Lions.
Nice run by Blake there to get around the end, get first down.
I believe it'd probably be Chase. Nope, number 31.
Got it off in time.
Yep, break it off. So 42 is Braden Rolfe. Braden Rolfe is your fullback sophomore at 5'8", 150. Number 31 in the game, Garrett Newkirk, is also a sophomore at 5'10", 150, a running back. Getting some touches here, both these gentlemen, in the latter part of this fourth quarter. Looks like you've got a couple new, besides a quarterback, also you got another receiver out there. We'll try to get you a number on that receiver. Ball goes to Rolfe again.
Not much going there on that run.
And that receiver's name, number 21, it looks like, I don't know that was Dalen Maple on the outside. I think I might have a wrong number there. So that's 81, ladies and gentlemen. 81 was Miley Powell out at wide receiver on that last play. So the ball ball's fumbled. Trying to recover it, number 31 was Garrett Newkirk. The ball hitting and the ball's going to go over to New Richmond. And as we said before, McSorley is not going to be happy.
He's not happy.
No matter what time of the game it is, he's not going to be happy with that. So with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left, the ball's going to get turned over to New Richmond. What are you telling your young players at this point? What do you want them to get out of mop-up time here with 5 minutes left in a blowout game?
Well, you don't want that. You want crisp football. You want to see them execute against guys maybe a little older than them on this varsity level, but you want to be clean. You don't want to have any mistakes like that happen. Looks like we got a few new faces also on defense here.
Yeah, Carter Uten's going to be out there at cornerback. Oh, the ball's going to be on the left-hand side, and he's going to break through, and he's going to score. And oh my goodness, I'll tell you, McSorley's not going to be happy to give up a score to New Richmond at this point in the game with that JV defense in there. That'll bring the score total for the league against Clinton-Massie to 13, possibly 14, but he's not going to be happy about it.
I have a different perspective. If that doesn't show you how good that defense is, because look what he did to our reserves and how quick he looks. That shows you how fast our defense has been to hold him to nothing, literally just a few yards all night, and he looks like that against our guys. Our defense is really good, but no, that does not bode well for these youngsters in the game right now.
They're going to call a timeout. New Richmond's going to call a timeout to make sure they have this two-point play ready to go. I'm not sure exactly why, but with 5 minutes and 5 seconds left, 45-6 is your score right now, possibly 45-8, depending on if this two-point conversion, which is very important, the New Richmond gets this taken care of. So good luck to them on this two-point conversion with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Well, and you don't want, even though that starting defense is phenomenal and has played a great, even your backups, you don't want to give up 50, 60 yards plays like that.
No.
You don't want to give that up. You don't want to end on that note. I mean, my coaching experience consists of second and third grade upward basketball. One thing I always like to do, everybody ends by making a shot. Everybody ends on a good note.
Right.
And you want to end the game on a good note.
So the play is around the right-hand side.
He's going to get it.
Oh, absolutely. Snyder's able to cross the goal line for the two-point conversion. So that's going to give New Richmond 8 points, and I'm sure just a tiny bit of moral victory that they're not going to go with a goose egg on the board.
Yeah, not happy for Massie fans, but like I said, let's end on a good note. Let's march the ball down. Let's maybe we can get another touchdown and give these youngsters some confidence for their careers coming up here at Massie. So hopefully we can do something here.
I'll tell you what, Colton Trampler is not happy. I mean, you can tell he is not happy that they gave up that score. He's stomping up and down the sidelines frustrated, so he wants to make sure that, like you said, that when you bring in the reserves, that they're running the ball crisp, they're making good tackles, and they're playing up to the level of competition, which, as you mentioned, is probably older than them at this point.
But you kind of like that competitive attitude.
Absolutely.
You love it.
Garrett Trampler's back. Carson Van Oos is back. So you still got two strong starters and you got Braxton Green, Devin Noble, Caden Clutter. They're not ready to put in the reserves for kickoff return at this point. So we'll see what New Richmond brings to the field here on this kick. It's been a while since we've seen the punt or the kickoff return team on the field. Van Oos gets the ball. He's able to clear the first level.
Ooh.
Onto the second level, almost to the 50-yard line. It looks like he's going to go right out of bounds, taken out by a defender right at the 50-yard line. So
great run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Run. And Van Hoos is a sophomore, if I'm correct?
Sophomore.
So, I mean, he could be playing, but he's got a couple great years ahead of him to help out this Massie team.
77 in the game is Colin Swope, sophomore, 5'10", 205 on the offensive line here. So we are seeing a few people rotate in and out, different. Looks like they went final wholesale changes with the offensive line here. Wishbone backfield, ball gets put into, I believe that's 31, so that should be Garrett Newkirk.
And I'm telling you, they probably got a earful on the sideline, and it's about protecting that football.
Absolutely. Also into the game, Christian Doss, a junior at 6'1", 230 pounds. Doss is a big boy. I've seen him in practice, and
yes,
they're expecting him to do something next year as he goes into his senior year. So actually, he's coming out of the game immediately. Christian Doss is out and back into the game. 50. It looks like Ruther. I think they put 84.
Nice blocking.
Oh, yep. Carter Uten stays on his feet.
There you go. Nice run, nice blocking downfield. That's how you do it, guys.
Yeah, that's
how you do it.
I believe that was Dawson Conley on a nice block on the outside. Yep, sure was. And I tell you, Carter Uten, I mean, on the basketball court, amazing hands, good speed. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the football in his hand here in the next couple years. I think his specialty is going to be his defense. I think he likes to shut down those corners on the far side there. So wishbone backfield, ball gets handed to Uten. Uten's going to get pushed back just a little bit.
Looks like, yeah, this second team's finally getting their footing here and making some progress. You like to see that, and love to see these guys blocking downfield like the way they are.
Good to see Donald Brewer in there. If anybody knows Donnie, he's a hard-working kid. He's that guy you want on your team to just show up early, stay late, great attitude. Maybe doesn't get as many snaps as I'm sure he wish he would, but has a great attitude in the process. So ball gets faked one way. He's going to keep it. He's going to get drugged down in the backfield.
Didn't fool anybody.
Yeah, not on that particular play. So Donnie Brewer with the rush, but he's going to be taken back about 4 or 5 yards for a loss there, so it's going to bring up 3rd and about 13.
Yeah, now you kind of put yourself in a bit of a pickle here. You had some momentum and lost too much yards on that play.
Christian Doss again stepping out of the game at this point. Wishbone backfield. I'd say they're just going to get the ball in the hands of, looks like that was Uten, Carter Uten on the carry. He's going to be brought down in the backfield again. So we're moving in the wrong direction here. Like you said, you want crisp runs. You want to make sure that everybody's doing everything they're supposed to do to get this good experience. You don't want them to go backwards in the process.
No, and unfortunately, last couple plays, that's where they went. So now it'll be interesting to see what we do down here on the new Richmond side of the field. And interesting to see whether we, looks like we might be going for it here.
I'd say you would at this point. You got young group in there. If they turn the ball over, you make their defense go another 75 yards. So the counter comes back, and it's going to be stuffed pretty quickly, maybe about a 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain, and it's going to cause a turnover and downs for Clinton-Massie Falcons, bringing the defensive unit out, bringing in number 53, number 35 is Nathan Smith. And number 53 is Gavin Avey. Gavin Avey, sophomore defensive lineman, coming into the game at this point. So let's talk a little bit about Wilmington next week. So, what's our thoughts? First, you're going over to Wilmington. So you're going to be in a quote-unquote hostile environment against a team that right now is kind of scratching and clawing to find its place with possibly their starting quarterback changing over the last week or so, and their hopes.
Look at what we got again here, man.
Duty's going to score again.
Wow.
He's not going to be happy when he brings that sideline. Coach McSorley kind of shaking his head at this point, frustrated at his second-team defense. So this game, with 25 seconds left, is going to be 45-14, with what we assume is to be a 2-point conversion attempt afterwards. Looks like Wilmington and Western Brown 14-14. And I will say this, Western Brown, a large school with a lot of athletes that are walking the halls that just decide not to play football. But for Wilmington to be 14-14 with them, and it looks like Snyder is going to pass the ball, and the ball is going to go in for the score on the 2-point conversion. So it's going to make this a 45-16 ball game, which when you look at the score sheet, you're going to recognize that it was not that close.
Not indicative of what the game on the field and how it was played. But again, that's a fast running back, Jacob Duty. He gets loose. He's hard to catch. It shows you that they contained him all night, contain this offense, when they're actually a decent offense when you see him against, these guys. And so kind of makes me feel good about how good our defense really is.
Yeah, and I don't know how much there's a moral victory for Duty at that point, scoring against a JV
well,
team.
80 and a 50 or 60, get your stats up pretty quick there.
Yeah, we'll help his numbers just a little bit. So starting return team is still on the field. I don't know that we have a JV kickoff return team because it looks like we still have our starters out there. And they're going to onside kick.
Almost got it, but went out of bounds, looked like.
I don't know that was purposeful. It looks like he might have just missed that ball.
So let me ask you this. How does McSorley address the locker room? Because obviously you played 3 quarters of phenomenal football, but this 4th quarter has been pretty rough.
I would say with high volume. That would be my guess, that there will be a high volume to his conversation. I think you say to the starters, hey, you held them to, I don't know the statistics of yardage, but it's going to be
I'd say under 100.
Under 100. Yeah, little to none. They only had one actual time where they started behind the 50 and crossed it. Other than that, a punt or two. Looks like they're going to kneel on the ball here, which is going to send this game. Yep. 45-16 is your total. So let's talk again about Wilmington for next week. They're in a 14-14 tie right now with Western Brown. which I'll be honest with you, I don't know that bodes well for them because Western Brown didn't have a good showing against us here just a few weeks back.
No, I think I don't think it's a trap game. I think they don't like Wilmington enough that they're not going to take this easy. I think they're going to be ready to kind of do what they did tonight and get 2 or 3 quarters of good football. I think I think Wilmington will be up. I think they'll be up for it, but just probably not the talent this year that they've had in the past.
Are they going to have the horses is the question.
Yeah.
So I think, I think to be respectful of them and their coaching staff over there, I want them to, have a good season every year.
Sure.
I know Scott Killen, but yeah, I would say that right now they're probably just trying to find their way at the end of this season and look and see what they're prepping to do for next year. And you have to think just a little bit, how much longer does Killen have over there? I mean, is it something where they're supportive of him? Do they want to move on, or is there some concern at this point?
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see how they he's had some great teams in the past and had some times they've took Massey down to the wire a few years ago. But recently it's kind of been one side of the past couple years with Massey pulling out to pretty big leads here.
Yeah, so Clinton-Massie able to finish off senior night with a 45-16 win. The cheerleaders and student section joined the team on the field to celebrate with the seniors. So congratulations to Clinton-Massie. EJ, didn't get to broadcast a lot of football games with you this year. We appreciate your attendance and efforts today. And then also we want to, look forward to a basketball season that I'm sure we'll be doing plenty of games with.
That'll be fun. And we mentioned this in the pregame. I don't know if we talked about it a lot, but hopefully we see another Triple Crown. It's going to be tough with basketball losing some big seniors, but last year was a Triple Crown, basketball, football, baseball, and hopefully this year maybe we can do the same.
That's the hope. So for EJ Lamb, this is Matt Baker. Appreciate your watching and signing off for the evening.